see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots, and a sexy body.
Like, I don't even understand. Like, I mean, we don't have the kind of drain that would allow us to have like one of those baskets, you know, the hair basket thing.
Yeah.
So we don't have anything like that because it's the wrong type of drain. But yeah, the sheer amount of hair was just unforgivable, and it's nothing unfamiliar. It's just it's been like a year and a half, maybe 2 years since it got cleaned last, like thoroughly.
Right.
I got it to drain a bit the last time it clogged up. I rigged up one of those tools, you know, with a big zip tie, and and just kind of poked at it and pulled some hair out, and it would drain. But this go round, it was like taking 30 minutes to friggin' drain completely after a shower.
So one of those dollar store drain decloggers. That's like it's like a giant hook Velcro.
Yes.
The end of a
So
but they call it the turbo snake, but it does work.
Yeah, I don't think it would have worked in this case. For a sink, it probably would have worked, but not for this much clog. So I got I went to Home Depot and I got the one that looks like a big long thing with a whole bunch of hooks on it.
Oh yeah. So it really yanked up every.
Yeah, and I mean I stuck it like 3/4. That thing is like probably 30 inches long, and I like got it down in there, and like yoink. But I mean it's the best $250 I ever spent. Like it's only $250 for that tool, you know, $260 for the one with the bag. Like, you know, so you can just bag it as you go. But that's assuming you got it in one shot. You know, I did not. It took like 5 shots, and like the last couple, I swear to God, it was like the first few were like fresh, I guess, so to speak, and the rest were like they looked dry. They were like so clogged up and so deep down there, it was fucking dry. I was like, it looked like a fucking mouse. Like when I said that, like I looked like I pulled a ferret out of that damn drain. I mean, that's when it was all said and done. I was just like, look what you did. You know, it's like this was you. It's like I don't know how long this hair has been collecting in this drain, but good Lord, baby, you know.
It goes by the length of time that you have you've been in the house.
Yeah. Well,
or potentially whoever's been in the house.
You know what? How long did I say? I stupidly said that. It's like we've only been here over a year, like a little over a year. So the first time it got clogged up must have been leftover hair from the previous person and Jessica.
Which is disgusting to me for some reason more than my own. I guess, you know.
Well, you know, this is also the same reason we no longer share a shower, you know. It's like so if mine gets bad, I don't have the kind of hair she has. So you could actually poke at it and make it go through, you know. Mm-hmm. But now that I have the tool, you know, I cleaned it off really good, and then I thoroughly cleaned out her tub with the foaming Clorox spray, and scrubbed it with a toilet brush. Fun times. What is that noise?
Times. Well, I've definitely unclogged my fair share of drains.
Yeah.
Kids, us, all of it.
Yeah, kids tend to put things down drains, though. It's not usually human bodily matter clogging it when it's a
usually
it's a child.
It's toothpaste. It's a lot of toothpaste.
I could see toothpaste being a problem. Yeah.
We joke that when our kids grow up, we'll just visit them and they won't know what happened.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be so filthy that they don't even know. Yeah. So it's funny, we did go on a cleaning binge, or I should say, she went on a cleaning binge this weekend, and the bathtub is what started it. And so like she cleaned up the rest of her bathroom, cleaned off the sink, the whole counter, which was just covered in stuff. And that got her wanting to clean other things and start yelling at me about stuff. So that's how we spend most of Sunday.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. So I had to actually break off and resharpen my spudger earlier. It actually cracked and split on me.
Wow.
Terrible way to start the day with a broken spudger. Either way, welcome back to episode 24 of the Now You Made It Awkward podcast, guys. I am Shoky, and you can follow me at all the Shoky related things in the description down below. And over here we have the Rickster.
What's up, yo?
And you can check out the stuff he does for Nerd Rage Radio on Facebook, except for that 1 week where he didn't do it in time. And also on the Realm Hatton Project and the Realm of Collectors YouTube channel on Friday nights. And I had to clear my throat in the middle of a sentence. All right, and then, of course, we have Rob down here, a.k.a. Dormammu.
Greetings and salutations.
Yes, and you can find him leaving the podcast early to go deal with his kids every time. So,
and he's using English. There was no fancy pants opening that time.
Yes. Well, now it feels empty. give us a snippet of something.
Say konnichiwa, bitches.
Well, don't tell him what to say.
Bienvenue?
Ooh,
nice.
Very good. Very
Parlez-vous français?
Parlez-vous français. So, guys, we actually don't have any comments or emails to actually go over because Rikki and I killed those the other day, and that posted this morning in the Rikki versus Jay episode. Because it's basically
Spoiler
what it turned
alert,
into.
Jay was wrong.
I don't think he's 100% wrong. But yeah, we don't have any comments except from Christine, who messaged me last night and said that Jessica did a really good job. And she actually enjoyed listening. Yep. So, you know, I gotta just wonder what it's gonna take for me to get her to come back on one day. Like, it was
for her tater tots this time.
Oh, she got tater tots because it was Sonic.
No, you got her with a burger last time.
No, it was a burger. It was a burger, tots, and a drink. So.
Oh, you got like a whole meal.
Oh yeah, no, it was a whole thing. But she's like, she told me before I came home, she's like, I really want a hamburger. I'm like, the only way you're getting a hamburger is if you come on the podcast.
Nice. Okay, so now I gotta know: is this an innuendo? Do you call your man meat hamburgers? Is that what we're doing here?
No.
Okay, so you meant an actual legit hamburger.
Yes. I don't have to withhold sex to get her to do things. I just do that anyways.
But it works.
I like how you just
said you do it anyway.
I do it anyways.
It took a second to catch that. Jesus.
I was waiting for you to catch this. I was like, no, I just do that.
It took a second to get through the wires into my headphones and into my ears.
Yes, yeah, so it had to travel all the way to Florida for Rikki to catch that. Either way.
My fucking dial-up sucks. My bad, y'all.
It's dial-up. He's on Starlink. So since we don't have any communications from you guys, you should rectify that at NowYouMadeItAwkwardMail@gmail.com. You could be like Jay, who writes into us fairly often, but then again might be angry at us now. We'll see what happens.
Oh, boo.
I hope you're not. I hope you can take it on the chin and understand that Rikki is not actually as big of an asshole as he portrays himself.
I mean, kinda.
Yeah, kind of. At least I edited out the one little thing you said to him. So
what did I edit? What did you edit out? What did I say?
Exactly. So let's just roll into our weeks. Mr. Dormammu, would you like to go first?
Sure. Let's see. Standard week of running around. We did go twice. We have a local farm, and 'tis this fall season, or the start of there, to the Sunflower Festival, which basically is just a nice way of saying there was a giant farm. They had a bunch of stuff for the kids to jump around in and jump on and do. And they also had pick your own sunflowers, and there's a giant field where they get to pick your own sunflower. So that was quite nice. There was a lot of running around, and because it was all in land, so lots of up, down, and all around. Otherwise, I did some of the quote-unquote do list, installing things like shelving in closets and putting in a new doorbell because it needs to be replaced.
Ooh.
Yeah, just standard stuff.
Cool.
I did also do an unboxing for yes, using my usual comedic aplomb. I did an unboxing for the Realm of Collectors ROC box that was part of the BotCon 2022. That if you basically purchase this box, which is it's like a loot crate almost, but it's a thing that the Realm of Collectors does. This year, because there had been a delay of several, they had really outdone themselves and had included a lot of very nice things, including aforementioned Spudgers
Spoiler.
and several other
Okay,
things.
spoilers for what?
I mean,
An
it's
event
already
that
everybody's already opened their stuff. So
Somebody was selling it on eBay while we were there.
yeah, I
no
believe
shit.
it.
Yep.
I mean, I fully expect that, but like that's insane.
Yeah,
But I have
it's
mine
crazy.
sitting. I have mine sitting on my desk right here, looking awesome.
Nice.
Yes, and if you haven't figured out by the name, Rikki,
Yes.
did anybody tell you that the end gag there?
The Wheelie Nelson.
Yeah,
Bingo. Yep.
Yeah.
hmm
I saw it in the comments of Bobby's video this morning.
Yeah. So no, that was a very nice way to kind of have a weekend. I also finished putting together. I had wanted to put together the Farai model in Blade, which is basically just a Transformers model kit, and she looks quite nice, and I'm quite happy with that. Something very
Flame Toys.
therapeutic. Yeah.
Yes.
There's something very therapeutic about putting model kits together at times.
Mm-hmm. Are you gonna get
that
the
was quite
RC?
nice. I might.
It's
I might. The quality is really good.
It's a remold of
It's a
the
remold.
Windblade. So yeah.
It's a remold, but it's the quality is very good. Everything's snapped together well.
Mm-hmm.
I have to go through a lot of like I didn't cut my fingers trying to get things done. So happy with that.
I mean, yeah, that's always a good thing. I mean, but realistically, that's part of the process.
Yeah.
It's like you didn't cut yourself, so you kind of failed.
Exactly.
We demand you go stab your finger right now.
Yeah.
As a modeling community, I'm speaking out and saying, go cut your finger right now. Bleed on it just a little.
No, the last one took a little prick of blood, but no, I managed to get through this one without any problems.
Mm-hmm.
But no, otherwise, lots of just kind of playing catch up on the watching media scene. Actually, I'm in the middle of watching Prey. I finished watching all the latest season of The Umbrella Academy, which was quite good.
Hold on a second. You're not finished with a singular movie, but you already finished a full season of another show?
Well, it just got too late. I started watching it, and then I was like, okay, I can't keep my eyes open.
I think you're taking that as he stopped watching Prey to watch Umbrella Academy. It's like,
No,
he ran out of time watching Prey.
Exactly.
Because he was watching Umbrella Academy.
Exactly.
Motherfucker. I've actually not watched that show at all. I kind of don't have interest.
It's I find it's right in my wheelhouse of oddity shows that I kind of have enjoyed watching, and I know there's for anybody that has watched it, if you're one of those people that is on the Ellen versus Elliot Page scene of things, I think
not gonna like this season.
I mean, it's obviously the writers went out of their way to try to make sure that things would work.
I'm gonna say she actually made a thing about it and made them do it.
Oh yes,
yes,
whatever.
Yes,
she.
Yes.
Sorry.
So
but they weren't going to.
Well, technically, Ellen Page didn't make them. Elliot did, so he's a dick.
Mm-hmm.
Wishes.
It's like Elliot Page is kind of a dick. But Ellen Page could still get it.
See, kids, you can be anything you dream to be.
Again, the series itself follows quite well. The first season followed quite well with the comics from Dark Horse. They're quite old at this point.
Thanks for reminding me. I forgot to put something down on my list.
But the second and third season are kind of that slightly off page, if you will. Pun intended. Yes.
Was the second season the one where they did with the more with that guy, like where he went into the shows him getting old and stuff?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that one. I loved that season.
And there's still a lot of that same well pointed out writing and whatnot, but it's been more action adventure and kind of a lot of significantly less
Thought provoking.
Thought provoking. Yeah, that's the best word for it. That's definitely the best word for it. But no, second episode of She-Hulk came out. We'll talk about that, I'm sure, in a few minutes.
Yes,
I'll let you guys get into it.
Yes.
Oh god, I just threw up some on the microphone.
Yeah, well, but most of the time it was actually most of the time it was just kind of watching Rikki party hardy over there over at BotCon, so and just kind of enjoying by proxy.
I was doing
that's called FOMO.
It is FOMO.
Enjoying by proxy is just FOMO.
Yeah,
it's
pretty much.
Really what it comes down to. It's like every one of us is like, God damn it, I wish I was fucking good for you guys. It looks like you're having so much fun. Yeah.
Well, he and another friend were kind enough to call me and tell me that they missed me, so it was very nice of them. Told my wife that, and she said,
now that you put it out there, so everybody thinks that about me, and when I procure being an asshole, I don't know what you're talking about, sir. I was not.
Simple tip, folks. Ricky's a nice person.
No,
oh, fuck you. We're kicking this guy off. Mute him. You're out of here.
No, I kind of like Rob.
I withdraw having Demamu come on the show.
Good thing you're not in charge.
Well, if it helps anyone, when I told my wife that my friends called, and they said, "Who?"
Oh God. Can we get Miss Dormammu on here? Like yes, I'm
only
real,
if Jay
man.
comes
It's not the voices in his head this time. It was a real person.
It was a real person.
It's a real person.
No, otherwise, yeah, pretty standard normal week. Just lots of work and lots of everything else.
Nice.
Hot as blazes out here today. I mean, I walked outside and I was like, nope.
He's like,
thank God.
This is why I don't go out here. And he went back inside, shut all the blinds.
That's enough vitamin D. Thanks.
Am I anybody like you're talking about the heat and stuff? There are times like I've looked at, like, you look at like history books and like old pictures and stuff like that where they show people, like, especially here in Florida, like they're just like chilling out outside in the summertime. There's no electricity, so there's obviously no AC.
Yeah, they're
even in some of the
acclimated to it.
Some of the more modern ones, they have like ceiling fans is about the best thing they got going for them.
Yeah,
and they're just chilling, and I'm like, oh my God, my balls are sticking to my leg looking at this picture. I don't know how they survived at all. Like,
not enough breathability in that.
They worked
elastic.
They worked off,
and they wore 100% cotton outfits and stuff. I'm like, oh my God, you're like walking around in a soaking wet washcloth all the time.
Oh, yeah, but cotton is breathable.
Yeah, but imagine how much it also absorbs all that sweat.
Well, I've been told by all these climatologists that it was in fact 90 degrees cooler less than 40 years ago. So we're coming to a very quick boiling end to our death due to whatever humans have done, blah, 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 climate change, blah, 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 fossil fuels, blah, 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 windmills.
Once Al Gore invented the internet, I learned about that too.
Look, Al Gore did invent the internet. He just didn't tell anyone about it.
Until 30 years after it was already out.
Until 30 years later, once the Navy actually said, oh, by the way, that was ours.
I'm going to let you two in on a secret, as long as you promise not to tell anybody. I had this new invention. It's called the internal combustion engine. Don't tell anybody about it. I'm going to see if I can get a patent for it. Shh.
Only if it runs on water.
That would not be combustion.
It might be.
I mean, you could also just go out to a field, find a cow, and just
actually, if you have a
funnel to it.
Hold on,
it's funny that you said that. I'm gonna judge the strength of my engines on how far a cow can pull a plow.
Hold on, I do have a question.
I'm gonna call it cow power.
You could have an internal combustion engine that runs on water as long as the catalyst is what, pure sodium. Sodium, one of those reacts violently when just added to water. I forget which one it is, but it's a soft metal, so you could do that.
Yeah, it's sodium nitrate.
Yeah.
No, you went Ron Burgundy on that one. You threw a question mark in there, like you trailed off. You're like, sodium.
Well, no, no. The reason I said that is because
No, for a moment there, I thought he was going baking soda volcano.
Yeah.
With
no,
us.
no, 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 no. I'm being like
Just throw
legit.
vinegar
Like
in your acid in your
I
car.
think it's just that pure metal, the metal version of sodium, because I've seen those science experiments where they literally take a sliver off of it and drop it in like a test tube of like 1 ounce of water and it explodes.
And it just boils
So-
out. Yeah.
Yeah, so you could have an internal combustion engine on water. You would just have to somehow inject metal sodium into it as well.
Or you just make all your piping out of that same metal, and then you just start driving as you just drip water in while you're driving.
Yeah. You could also just make everything run off of fusion or nuclear batteries. That works too. Those do those exist.
Or we can just make our cars run off of fossil fuels, and it could be my great grandchildren's problem.
Or it'd be no one's problem because it's not actually a problem. Either way. So I guess I'll go on with my week since Rikki has probably a bit more to talk about than the rest of us, because
You always assume that, but I really don't.
I mean, you kind of went on a mini vacation this weekend. Either way, spoilers for everybody. All right, so where to fucking start? Okay, things I got. Obviously, I got the new Studio 86 slag over here, along with a bunch of model kits that came in from Gundam Planet. And I also got a new Demon Slayer statue. All those things will be revealed on an upcoming In the Kitchen video. And let's see here. Okay, I was watching a lot of Alone on Hulu with the wife. I think that's irony of some sort. So like because you're laughing way too hard at that.
Because my brain loved that you even came up with that.
Yeah.
Like I'm just laughing about that's funny to me.
Yeah.
We were watching Alone together.
Yes. So because Netflix only had like season 7 on it, but Hulu has like all 8 seasons, I think. Unless season 7 was specifically a Netflix version. Either way, going back all the way to the original and seeing how people really got started, it was pretty cool. But now it just seems like the beginning is just the same shit over and over again for like the first like 7 or 8 days. It's just like, yep, this guy can't take it. Fuck, he's gone. Up, I'm gonna try to make a boat out of something. That fucking failed. Oh, I'm gonna have to move because bears. Now, season 3 though takes place in Argentina, so very different wildlife to deal with. Although they found very similar. It looks like Alaska. It's just like
maybe that's where monkeypox came from.
No, I doubt that because it was a long time ago. But either way, it's a fun show. Just it's a very interesting survival show compared to all those other ones we watch, like Bear Grylls, Survivor Man, stuff like that, because these guys have to be their own editor, recorder. Like they have to direct themselves, they have to film themselves, they got to do all this shit. Not to mention just try to survive off the land with nothing more but the 10 items that they're allowed to take with them. So
were you did it ever hit you when you found out that all those like Survivor shows and all that shit were faked? Did it bother you?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, like
Bear Grylls
was Bear Grylls was never really fake. It was just obviously he's there with the crew and he is showing you things, but he's never really in a bad situation. You know,
yeah, there was the one of the ones I watched is where he did the Luke Skywalker and the camel thing, but he was out there, you know, pissing a circle around the camel's carcass to keep animals away at night. And I'm like, animals weren't coming anyways. You had 57 fucking people right there next to you making a bazillion amounts of noise. Ain't no animal trying to creep up on you.
Well, I think in like I was saying in his case, it's not so much,
and they feed
fake.
them and stuff too. You know, they feed them and stuff. I mean,
those.
that's the whole other thing is, you know, they're acting like they're having to live off the land. No, they're eating like MREs and stuff off camera.
Yeah,
they're just showing you could eat this other stuff while you were there.
Yeah, at least with Alone, there's no camera crew. You know, as far as anybody can tell, you know, it's just I think they give them like 3 or 4 cameras and they just set up on tripods. You know. And I assume that when they do medical checks, they also take the footage and like give them new SD cards or whatever they're using.
Like new charged batteries and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
I think they have. Well, I'm pretty sure they have solar batteries for those for the most part. Even
the one that upset me the most was after I found that out was going back and watching the old Crocodile Hunter stuff. Because it used to always trip me out. Like, this dude's on an island in the middle of nowhere, and he'd find some snake, and then he'd take 20 minutes to explain to you how this snake is not native to his island. And he has no idea how it gets here. And after finding that shit out, I was like, Yeah, it's because Bob over there took it out of a fucking crate and put it on that tree so you could pick it up for the goddamn camera. That's how the fuck it
Oh,
happened.
one of those. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That makes sense.
Man, that shit made me
Um,
mad, dude. I was a little pissed off. It was like the first time when you found out that porn was fake. I mean, I was like, God damn it, they were faking it the whole time.
yeah, yeah.
It just kind of sounds a lot like the Hunger Games for hobos.
Yeah, but that's the Hungry Games.
That's the new.
Hold on, hold on. I do have to take the time to mention because you brought that up. I wanted to create a show called No Place Like
Hobo
Home.
fight?
No place No Place Like Homeless, where
No.
you take people who have like a really nice house and you take everything away and you put them on the street and see if they can survive. But you also take the homeless people and see if they can renovate the rich person's house.
Oh God, they just deck it all out.
They can deck it out with however they want or steal everything. So, like I said, No Place Like Homeless. I figured it'd be a fucking great show. Not to mention it can be on BET or something. I don't know.
No.
I just picked a random one. I realized BET was not the best solution there.
We're gonna delete that.
Nope, I'm leaving my own
SHOKY
fuck
edit
up in
that
there.
point.
Nope,
Edit that one.
Nope, I'm leaving my fuck up in there because that was my fault. Because honestly, I don't think they're.
I mean, that sounds like a great. You should email the new Discovery Communications Warner Brothers merger.
Yeah, throw that shit all over HBO Max. No Place Like Homeless.
Maybe get somebody.
Well, I mean, realistically, you've got you're prime for choice in L.A. County and in San Francisco and all those major California cities. You got the rich people right there. You got the homeless people right there. All you're doing is swapping. In the winter, whatever the winner might be, gets to eat the other one. I don't know. Something. I have no idea. It's like it's and we throw in that level of that. So either way, it's like it would be fake as hell, except for the homeless person totally wrecking the mansion. That would be the only part that would probably be real. Either way. Let's see here.
Worse, one of them claims squatters' rights.
Yeah. Oh yes. Let's totally do that. Yeah. So watch She-Hulk. By the way, we haven't been able to talk about the first episode of She-Hulk, let alone the second one. So,
it got progressively worse.
She-Hulk as it is, and then House of the Dragon also as it is. Since both of those have come out, I've been still attempting to watch the Clone Wars. Still having problems, mostly because I fall asleep.
Makes me sad that you say attempting. Like,
dude, I keep falling asleep for 3 episodes and then having to go back and figure out where I left off. I just had to rewatch the part where they bring in Satine, and Obi-Wan's trying to protect her, and they tried the assassination attempt and all that nonsense. I had to watch it twice because I fell asleep on the first episode, and then I just suddenly like way past it. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck just happened. I had to rewind and go back 3 episodes. So, like I said, I need to find time to watch it when I'm not sleepy because something about it is, and maybe it's because it's the early days. I don't know, but it's still, it's not grabbing me.
You've seen them all before, right?
No, I've
You've never seen these
what?
before, and you're still falling asleep.
Yes.
I thought you were just rewatching them.
In his defense, some of them were a little dry, and
at the very first season was
the first season is really rough. The first season was super rough. The second season, I'm in the second season.
I was gonna say you gotta be second or third season if you're talking about Satine. I mean,
yeah, it's second season, like later in the second season, but like even there were some episodes in here that I don't even remember watching. If I just probably slept through them, or I was doing something else and it was just on. Like, it's not that it's boring per se. It's just, it's not grabbing me. I feel like the better storytelling and stuff like that is definitely coming later.
It does. That's the one show that got progressively better. Yeah. Like it didn't have that hump shape. It started bad and went great. It didn't go bad,
didn't have a bell curve to it.
Back down. Yeah, no, it went straight up.
Or bell end.
We've all had series where we're binge watching and then we fall asleep and then we wake up and we're like, at what point did this happen?
Yeah.
And I've done that with like Star Trek: The Next Generation. It's like,
I've only done that on ones I've seen before. That's why it surprised me that he's never seen this before. Because on ones I've seen before, I'll fall asleep and I'll be like, man, where was I at again? But I've already seen it, so it's like my mind's just remembering is all I'm really doing.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not like I know enough about it to know the bigger events that happen, the bigger character moments, stuff like that. So it's not that I'm completely unfamiliar. I've just never bothered to watch it.
Spoiler: Anakin becomes Vader.
Whoa. Are you sure?
Yep.
Does Obi-Wan die?
I mean, not yet.
Oh, okay.
Not before. Not before.
I hope
he
Mace Windu makes it
advertises a
out.
whole new fashion line.
Yeah, I hope Mace Windu makes it out alive.
He does. He does.
Okay, good.
Definitely makes it all the way to the end of the whole series. He's like the last of
Not
the
that
Jedi
he
standing.
does. He should. Honestly, somebody out there, Lucas, please make that happen.
George Lucas, please never touch Star
I mean,
Wars
they
again.
do it. They do it with fucking Darth Maul. Give him some. Give him spider
What?
arm or something, and
What?
bring him back
Darth?
too.
What do you mean?
What?
What do you mean?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Actually, there was interestingly enough, there's a comic that came out from Penny Arcade today where they were envisioning what happened when, because somebody obviously went through the trouble of designing legs for Darth Maul. Somebody wondered if they found his real legs and designed a whole new top for him.
A spider top.
the top and the bottom.
It's the other half of the droid.
Right.
So there in the universe, there's a spider person with a human leg or humanoid bipedal legs walking around looking for his body.
Yeah, that's probably right.
That'd be awesome.
Fucking A.
Oh,
Fucking
man.
Maul. All it was just to get to a single screamed word. Anyways. So I was very busy last week actually downloading, editing, and clipping live streams from my It Doesn't Have to Make Sense channel. And I think I managed to get something like 30 clips uploaded. And who knew that
live streams?
Yeah, so reactions. So,
okay.
So reacting to different things. And apparently that works really well for getting people to watch shit instead of a 2-hour live stream. Because I gained like 42 subscribers since I started doing that, and
got short attention spans,
several thousand more views. Well, I also posted a thing about as I was actually doing that, some guy commented about me being a lazy asshole who wouldn't bother to clip live streams. Nobody wants to watch an entire live stream. Who the fuck would even do that? I'd be like, the other 640 people who watched it before you got here and complained, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
Fucking dickhead. So
was it Jay in your comments?
No,
too?
it was not Jay. It was not Jay. So let's see where else. Okay, either way. So it's funny that like I haven't invested a ton of effort into that channel, technically speaking, because I used to record individual reactions to things, have to edit it all together, upload that shit. And then I said, fuck that, it's too much work. So I just did straight live stream reactions. People can come in the chat. We've got constant engagement. That's actually where a lot of our listeners here have come from. Christine, Denise, who we were talking to in the chat Sunday morning. They're both from the It Doesn't Have to Make Sense channel. I think technically Jay is actually from that channel and then ended up here. Also Will, that's where Will came from too. So, a good bit of our subscribers here on the podcast actually came from the It Doesn't Have to Make Sense channel, which I promote the podcast every freaking night over there. So, but either way, yeah, it's working. I mean, I just really want to get that channel to be monetized so I can take direct donations for anything instead of having to fucking go through PayPal and other shit like that, just to try to make a tiny bit of money at doing the job. Because fucking copyrights take all the money anyways. So that's why a lot of people take donations, because the copyright claims from UMG, Sony, whoever the fuck else on behalf of somebody takes all the fucking money. So and I actually had a discussion with Christine about that. I think that was last night. I don't know. I was pretty groggy yesterday. Let's see. I forgot I got comic books. That's the thing that Rob reminded me of when he said Dark Horse Comics. So there's a new comic out from was it Scott Snyder? No. Is he the one who does the comics? I left that in the other room.
Yes, Scott Snyder does the comics.
Okay, so
does the movies.
There you go. So Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo, and a bunch of other people put out a new comic series called We Have Demons. And I started reading that earlier. It's only the first 3 issues are out, and they're actually really pretty thick books for what they are. It's pretty fucking cool. It's talking about basically the end of mankind, not the wrestler, but the actual group of people. It talks about the hidden history of how demons evolved on Earth and stuff like that, and it's actually pretty cool. And the artwork is Capullo, so can't complain about that. Also picked up the issue 2 of Batman Beyond the White Knight, Red Hood. So I didn't realize it was only going to be a two issue run, and then it runs back into the main story. So next issue, which is issue 5 of the regular story, will pick up with Jason and Gon joining with Bruce. So that should be pretty cool. And the end of this one actually had a, is it the epilogue at the end, I guess? That's right?
Yes.
Prologue, obviously,
prologue
before epilogue.
the
Yes. There was another word I was thinking of. That's why I was trying to figure out if epilogue was the word I wanted. So, because what's the opposite of a foreword? Like when you put that at the beginning of a book, whatever. Either way, he has a little thing at the end that he writes about the story and stuff like that. And he was trying to talk about it without spoilers. Say what?
A eulogy.
Yeah, there you go. So he was trying to talk about it without spoiling stuff coming next episode, next thing. So it's pretty funny to sit there, and he had time to type and write this out, and he's like, okay, how do I type this out without spoiling anything? Like he's talking to himself and talking to you at the same time. So I really like Sean Murphy, and I like his writing, I like the artwork, I like this universe, and I want them to continue it somehow, wherever.
The problem is if they continue it too far, it gets, somebody will fuck it up. Like how they did with the Batman Metal. Like it started out really great and really strong, and people really liked it, so they decided to keep running with it. And then it's like, really? So now you're just gonna try to force it into the main continuity, and now it just kind of waters down, and it's not as cool as it once was.
Yeah,
I like it better when they kind of keep it its own thing, because then they can really just keep doing whatever the fuck they want to with it.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. One thing I would like to see is if they do a proper Batman Beyond story with it. Now that we do have Terry McGinnis in here, it's just a different way of how that happened. But I don't know. We'll see what happens, because Sean is not afraid to kill people off who you're like, fuck. Okay, what do we do now?
He likes to Game of Thrones that one.
He'll Game of Thrones it. One tiny spoiler he did give, because if you remember that I told you, shit, a month ago by now, they brought Duke Thomas in actually as a Robin. Like he's now been given a Robin outfit and a Robin moniker after he left the GPD.
Because we did talk about that, because I've mentioned how he was already a Robin in the We Are Robin.
Yeah. So so they're kind of doing the We Are Robin thing, because Barbara, or Babs as they call her in the thing, apparently recruits a bunch of Robins to go help. So that's one spoiler he did give. So it's not just going to be Duke. It's not just going to be Jason and Gon. We got the actual, in this story, we got the history of how Jason got the helmet instead of just the hood.
Oh, okay.
So as because I said it in the first issue where they beat up the traffic light gang is what I guess they called it. So there was a red, a green, and a yellow. So actually he got the helmet from Gon. She kept it from that encounter and held on to it. And she said, here, like, it's a little bit better than that ratty old hood you pull over your head. So, so that's how he actually got that and became the modern version in this of Red Hood. So, I mean, there's still fucking 15, 16 years of Jason Todd's story they could do if they wanted to, like where he went in between, because he went away and like joined the military and did all kinds of other shit elsewise in the world, and then came back later. So, there's at the behest of Bruce. So, there's all kinds of cool shit going on there.
Well, I hope then that they keep it that way, like I said, because I don't want them to try to, and not because it doesn't sound like cool characters and stuff, but if they try to force it into the main continuity,
well, it can't
reset a bunch of stuff you already know.
Yeah.
Or they'll have to constantly keep reminding you in every new comic, oh yeah, don't forget, this is not our Red Hood, this is that Red Hood, and I hate that shit too.
What would be
just call it Crisis on Infinite Windshields.
Shit. Oh, hold on, I forgot to tell you this. So the variant covers, right? So I bought the really nice. That's one of the, because I got the normal cover, and I got the 1 of 25 cover, or which is the more of an anime style, kind of like the first one. But the one in between is actually it's definitely still anime inspired with the pose that Jason's in. So he's in his getup, but he's wielding 2 crowbars. So I was
Nice.
like, okay, I have to order that. I was like, that's a good one. So I'm still ordering shit from. I'm still waiting on my monthly shipment. I gotta find a way to change that subscription box to more than once a month, because I can't order
Mhm.
shit there and then be waiting on the story. Because I'm missing the one Power Ranger story because I never could get that issue. So Mighty Morphin 22, I couldn't get locally because that batch of comics got destroyed on the way here.
Ugh.
So I ordered it from the online store, and it's just been sitting in my box since the beginning of the month. So I was like, fuck, I
Damn.
have to wait until this. So I got to figure out how to change that
You should
subscription.
tell them you want the one that went down in the ship because it could be a soggy variant.
Shit.
Called the soggy bottom variant.
Well, I don't know how it got. She didn't. When I was at the store, hearing Shannon complain about it, because there was some other. It wasn't just the Power Rangers. It was a bunch of stuff. Several boxes got destroyed, and I don't remember how. She just said destroyed. So they got most of the shipment, but they were missing some big titles that didn't make it in. So that really sucks. But they've had entire things. Oh, actually, I forgot to mention there was not just BotCon that went down across the world from me. I guess I was also in California. Power Morphicon went off, but here locally we had our second annual comic convention that I didn't find out about until I was already off of work. I was like, shit, I would have taken the day off and gone to do that instead. So there's some pretty big, no, I won't say big, but there were decent names there signing stuff. I mean, it's still real small in comparison, but because there's been a concerted effort to make our little city more of a destination for people, making more good restaurants, having some nightlife in town, actually using the convention center for things other than just gun shows, that kind of stuff. So next time, hopefully, I'll catch it in time, because like everything else is either like Comic Palooza down in Houston proper, or you got to go up to Dallas for what is it called? Is it A Fest? It's an anime convention. I just can't. Oh, it's A-Con, not A Fest. There's another one in San Antonio that happens every few years, but nothing ever really happens closer to me. So to actually try to get some stuff in our neck of the woods is pretty cool. So hopefully I'll make that next time. And last but not least, as it was storming pretty thoroughly earlier, we've already getting weather updates about, hey, look, the beginning of hurricane season is about to kick off really strongly for people in Florida and Texas. So this should be fun. I don't know if you get the same kind of, you should get the same kind of stuff where you're at, Ricky, but
Yeah, we get all that shit.
yeah, so we've got a nice tropical depression trying to kick up in the Gulf right now, like just above the Yucatan, which should come directly at Houston, according to forecasters. And then there's a thing happening out in the Atlantic that'll train basically up the coast or up the East Coast, starting around Florida, Cuba area. So that'll be a fun next couple of weeks to see how that's gonna start. We've had bullshit like since the beginning of summer when we normally get other types of hurricanes, and this past weekend was the anniversary of Hurricane Harvey. What is it, third anniversary? Well, no, longer than that. Shit,
It was gonna be like fifth or sixth.
fifth anniversary. Yeah. So that's fun. It's like, hey, look, round about the same week that Harvey happened, here, like we got another storm, and we haven't had a severe storm in a while. So, it's fun. But that's it for me.
If by fun you mean bending the hatches, buying more plywood.
It's yeah, like anybody can afford to board up their windows this year.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, if they're gonna be using foam board,
Oh God.
can't afford plywood, they're putting up foam board. What was damn it, I was gonna say, because you said that, I was gonna reply with oh God, we're all gonna die. But you didn't say exciting. I was like, I should have set it up with it's gonna be exciting. Damn it. Let's just go back, re-record that, and pretend I said it the right way. But either way, Ricky can go now.
Oh, it's my turn.
It is your turn, sir.
So I kind of did the normal stuff that they did: She-Hulk, House of Dragons. I've been watching the Orville. I'm almost up to season 3 now.
Oh, nice. How do you like it?
I like it. It's very enjoyable.
Yeah.
It's surprising. Like because you hear Seth MacFarlane, you're like, okay, here we go, Family Guy all day. It's going to be that type of
Expect
thing.
it to be you expect it
Yeah.
to be Family Guy in space, and it
And
doesn't end up being that.
there's
Season
still
one-
a couple.
Season
There's
one
still
more
a
had
couple
that.
jokes. Yeah, there's still a couple jokes. And I'm like, okay, I can handle that because I'm an adult, but I like to giggle at potty humor too. I mean, but honestly, watching the show, you can see that this guy really fucking loves Star Trek. Like,
Oh, yes.
he really loves it. Like, it is definitely.
It's what Star Trek. It's what all the new Treks should have been, but with slightly
it's a
more
love
comedy.
letter from a fan. You can
Yeah.
tell that very much so.
They-
And see, when I first watched it, when I was first watching, like I've watched the first 2 seasons. I haven't watched the latest. But like watching through it, you're right. I initially expected it to be more like
slapsticky version. I thought he was going to do
yeah,
like
slapstick,
a spoof or
like
something.
a Mel Brooks style
Yeah.
type of show, and primarily because right about that same time he had A Million Ways to Die in the West.
I was just about to say that 100 Ways to Die or whatever it was.
No,
Yeah,
and
that's what I was
so-
expecting.
And I
But
enjoyed that movie.
You are right. It ends up being more of a. It does
An
have its
homage
comedic
more
moments,
than
but
a
it's an
spoof,
homage
yeah.
to Star Trek, and it's done in a way that's not. It does have its moments where it's like, it could be a little bit preachy, but
And Norm Macdonald's in it, which freaked me out the
Right.
first time I
Yeah.
heard that slime ball guy talk.
Yeah.
It freaked me out. I was like, "Is that Norm
Right.
Macdonald?"
Oh, that's
Like,
right. I forgot about that.
Mm.
Yeah, it's been a while since I watched the first season. Yeah, I think I
But
started.
no,
the
it
second
was in
season.
terms of like science fiction shows. It's actually it's definitely got teeth, and I can
Yeah.
appreciate that. Like I was pretty
It's
happy with it.
definitely. I'm definitely enjoying it. Like, it's got my attention, and it's hard for me not to be watching it all the time.
Yeah.
it's good. So I like it. Did I watch any movies this? I don't think I watched any movies this week.
Oh, I do have one that I missed in my
What's that?
in-
Was it Uncharted?
No, it was. Well, oh no, Uncharted I had already watched.
Yeah,
no,
he had already
no,
seen
no.
Uncharted.
I know. It was the running gag of the fact that we both
I watched
forgot
the
it.
movie with the guy that was on our list of past, present, and future, Sylvester Stallone in
oh, goodness.
Samaritan.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that one.
I'm sorry.
God. Yeah, no, I'll take those. I will take your condolences.
He
I
should have
completely
happily retired by now, huh?
Well, this is also a Rikki was right because they
Mhm.
were exactly right,
Yep.
and that movie is proof.
Yep.
Mhm.
It happens more often than people like to admit. SHOKY.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Definitely
what?
right.
I wasn't
I
paying
kept
attention.
thinking. In fact, I kept thinking those exact words as I kept watching him use words.
Words that his mouth
Yeah.
just does not want to form correctly
Yeah.
at all.
Oh, I did want
Pain doesn't come from
to.
inside.
So Ricky, did you did you get an arrival notice for Demona from BBTS?
Yes, I did, and I immediately canceled it.
Because you already got her.
No, because I don't want her.
Oh, I
We
thought
had
you
I got
this
one
wanted
for
her.
conversation.
Bronx. I got one for Bronx today. So
Yeah,
but
they-
I've been
nice.
waiting for
all
that
the
one.
all the ones that have been waiting from Target came in today. I mean, obviously, I got them all myself now. But the one thing I did
Chuck?
forget to mention was,
Oh, go ahead.
sorry, I did get the. It's funny because you and I were talking when we did the email podcast. I ordered the Chun-Li one, and then like last week was Power Week, as they called it,
Right.
and I ordered something I think every day except for the last one. So like there was another one. There was one extra figure that they announced right at the beginning, and everybody's like, okay, that should have been done anyways. And then we
The
got
Yellow Ranger.
No, not even that one. I think it was a Green Ranger from no, Blue Ranger. The Blue Ranger from Wild Force. So
Of course, yeah.
yeah, so we just pre-ordered the Green Ranger from Lost Galaxy. So I was already building up that shelf right now. But like everything else was stupid. Like when they announced the Yellow Ranger Morpher. I kind of went off on a tangent about this the other day in a chat. And I was like, it's just fucking stupid. It's like, why are you giving us individual colored morphers when they were all the same except for Tommy's? It's like, it's so stupid. And they've only done it with the Pink Ranger and the Yellow Ranger, which, sad to say, nobody gives a fuck about. It's like, and it's been a long time thing, even way back when.
Nobody, the Mighty Morphin?
Mighty Morphin.
Ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were all the same.
They were all the
different
same.
was the coins.
Yeah. So, like, because, the morpher stand that I custom painted a
Mhm.
little while ago, that came from the Pink Ranger Lightning Collection morpher. I've still got the
Okay.
morpher and the coins in the box. I don't give a fuck about them. You know, I only wanted the stand. But like, unless I get a Starlight Studio metal replacement bit that'll make it look like a normal morpher. But there's no reason to make a morpher that's a different color that still functions exactly the same. So it's a yellow morpher, but it comes with all the coins. It changes for every ranger, except that it's got yellow everything. It's like, this is so stupid. It's like, nobody bought these when you did it, when the Legacy Collection did them for the movies. It's like, Bandai couldn't sell them. Why the fuck does Hasbro think they can? It's so stupid. You know, it's not, the weapons are appreciated. The morphers are stupid.
Could just be a fashion thing, or
But it's not.
to say that girls, not to say that girls' toys shouldn't, especially for that, shouldn't be a thing. They absolutely should. But these are adult collectible type items that they're advertising in a way, and
but they're also
but they're not really adult. They're not really adult collectibles. They're $20. I mean, that's
no.
that's
That's,
so
oh,
again,
you're talking about the figures, not the morphers.
No,
How
I'm
much
talking
is the
about the
morpher?
morphers.
No, the morpher is like 70.
Jesus Christ! Yeah,
See,
that's definitely not for kids.
that's why I'm saying, like, anything over the $20 to $25 limit is not. It can technically not be considered for a kid.
No.
Well, I know people. I know there's a guy in one of the groups I'm in. He buys fans toys, one for him and one for his like 7-year-old.
Okay.
Like owns fans toys. So there are people that do it. And I'm not hating on them for it, but I'm just saying. So there are people that would buy a $70 morpher for their kid if their kid wanted it, but it's not meant for that.
But to be fair, the Lightning Collection is significantly cheaper, and I don't mean money wise. The shell, the shell
quality.
of it's plastic. The coins don't feel as good. Even though they are die cast, the coins are die cast, but they're also like that super chrome gold, not the weathered look like people actually like. So that's why I don't use that morpher. But like, the only thing that sucks about it is the actual electronics are way better in the Hasbro. Like it has the recognition for which coin is which. So when you put it in there, it knows which one it is. So that's something that the Bandai never managed. So it would be cool if you could take the shell of like the nice die cast one and like swap the shit out. But also, like, the details on the Bandai one are better, not just the die cast. The paint sucks on the Hasbro one, and then they half-ass it when it comes to actually like the Ranger logo, like the ring that goes around it, around the coin. They half-ass that shit, and it's like bubbling. It's like, this came out of the box looking like shit. So it's like, it's so stupid. And then they're gonna, okay, here's a Yellow Ranger one too. No offense to any of the people who actually like the female Rangers, because, you know, most of us do, but nobody wants the cosplay item for that. It was hard enough to get people to buy the actual action figures of the girls.
And that's the problem, though. If they're cosplaying with the silver one anyways, because that's the proper one they should be using.
Proper one, yeah. And a lot of people buy the Lightning Collection one because it's lighter, because it's not die cast, and then they'll use chrome paint or something to update it, and they'll use that for their proper cosplay. But if they're going to use one prop wise, they use the Bandai one. You know, so they'll leave one on the belt and then use the other one to look cooler, I guess.
It kind of would have made more sense just like to do what Bandai approaches with Kamen Rider, where sometimes they'll have different plates for the buckles.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, you know, you want to be this character. Well, all you're gonna do is just swap out the plate, and now it's that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's all they did with the Tommy morpher. So the Green Ranger morpher, which also came with the white coin, and, you know, either way is like, it's stupid. It's like, but that's the only one that swaps out to be different until you get to the movie, which were different morphers anyways. So it's like different universe.
Which kind of was my theory anyway, was that they were going for the movie aspect of it.
Yeah, but they make it look like the TV show.
Right.
That's why it's even dumber. Either way, sorry to interrupt your week there, Ricky. Go ahead.
You're good.
I wanted to rant.
How we got from the Orville. All right, so I did Orville, didn't do any movies. Oh, I got in some stuff. That's where it was, because we started talking about stuff coming in.
Yeah.
I got in the Snake Eyes, I believe it's Commando set, the one that come with the gray timber. And
Joe Pets.
Yeah, and then
I'm going to call that line that.
while I was on my trip, I actually found Walmart that had like 3 or 4 of the new Storm Shadows and like 6 of the Croc Masters. So I snagged a Croc Master. Um, I was gonna pass on them, but then I started seeing all the videos on this crocodile, like the articulation points and stuff built into it, and it is nuts in hand. It's crazy as a figure,
so to speak.
Yeah.
Well
I don't
done,
know.
for sure.
I have my nuts in my hand while I was playing with it. There was no so to speak. So it's pretty cool.
So you were fondling your croc, and
I'm from Florida, man. Don't judge me. So so I got those. I can't remember if last week I'd already got them when we talked about it, but I got in Barbecue and Lady J.
We didn't talk last week, so yes.
Okay, so yeah, so definitely didn't get that. So Chuck had found these up north and sent them to me, so I got those in. So shout out to Chuck for that. And that's another thing I was going to get to is I'm in a group message with Chuck's in there too, and how you call it? He took a picture like at his local Target, and the stuff on there, their NECA rack. I'm looking at the picture right now. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of that turtle box set that had like the T-shirt and all that stuff in it. That Walmart exclusive one. It has like a animated Super Shredder in there. They have 5 of those. They have 4 of the Usagi Ujimbos already there. 1, 2, 3 of the April O'Neil Bride of Frankenstein's on the shelf.
Oh, damn, they already got that?
Yep.
Damn.
3 of the Hunchback, the Leonardo Hunchbacks. 1, 2.
Damn,
it looks like
they got all that?
Wait, I'm not done. They got 2 neutrino sets still left. And 1, 2, 3 of the Turtle Gang guy that just came out, the one with the paper sack on his head and the rock monster guy.
Yeah.
They got 3 of those sitting on the damn shelf. And then of course they got a bunch of their horror stuff too.
Do they have the mummy sarcophagus?
Maybe there's a bunch of horror
stuff. I've seen some people already getting that in store.
But it's crazy to me, like especially that Usagi Jimbo, that was supposed to be an exclusive on the NECA store. And I just got mine last month, and now they're selling them in stores already.
Yeah, because I've got the April O'Neil from the NECA store coming eventually. You know, and you know what? Because Sean brought this up a couple weeks ago. NECA making everyone rush to buy the Movie 2 4-pack of Turtles with accessories and whatnot on their website, and then they released the 2-pack of the Movie 2 Turtles to fucking Walmart's 6 months before it's supposed to come out from their own website. It's like, you kind of shot the fucking collectors in the foot there, NECA. It's like, that is some horse shit. But what's also interesting, actually, I don't know.
So is Walmart, but we know this.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't know, when is the Bride of Frankenstein supposed to come out?
It's already out. Like,
I'm talking about from NECA. I'm talking about like because I've got the order in. The question is, when is it supposed to be released?
Did you order it through NECA or through BBTS?
Through NECA.
I don't know.
Because I don't think was she available through BBTS?
All those monster ones have been on BBTS.
I thought that one was an exclusive. Well, obviously it's not an exclusive, but either way.
Yeah. That's just crazy to me. He sent that picture and all of us like, holy shit.
Yeah. So I need to start checking my targets then. The only thing that sucks is I don't want to cancel the NECA order if I do find this shit.
No. Well, if you do, you sell it.
Yeah, that's
find
true.
Somebody that wants it and sell it to them.
Well, I think because with the Turtles thing, it's one of the only lines where I collect multiples. Because I've got 2 full sets of Movie 1 Turtles, one with the alternate heads, and you know I could easily do 2 Movie Turtle sets or Movie 2 sets, you know, just to fill out the shelves.
Yeah, I didn't fall into that rabbit hole with the movies. I already had I got my 4 Turtles. I got Shredder and Super Shredder. I got Splinter. I got 4 of the Foot Soldiers, you know, because it was the 2-packs. So and I got Token Razar. Like, that's it. I'm good. That covers all the movies for me. I don't want Casey. Oh, I have Casey too. I forgot, but I don't have the updated one. I don't have the ultimate one where he has his unmasked face.
So
I have the first one.
So the last email I got from NECA updating it says that the Bride of Frankenstein April O'Neil will be shipping at some point in Q3, but no date.
but they're already in stores.
Yeah,
That's
they're
crazy to
already.
me.
So they ship them to stores before they ship them to the people who fucking ordered directly from them.
That's crazy.
It's so shitty.
Which is crazy because usually it's the reverse, and usually NECA is pretty good about doing that. So it's kind of strange. It's very strange.
But see, that's
I'm
why
legit on
I'm
a secret.
saying.
Pulse is the same way.
Yeah, Pulse
lot
is
of
the
No,
same
you're
way.
right. You're right.
A lot of people don't understand. Pulse isn't Hasbro. Pulse is a middleman between Hasbro and the customer.
Yeah.
Pulse has to order it from Hasbro. So if you order directly from Hasbro, you get the figure. You order it from Pulse, they have to order it from Hasbro. Hasbro ships it to them. Then they turn around and ship it to you after they've broken it down in their warehouse and resorted it and put it to where it needed to be. So that's a lot of times I've even myself personally found it in the store 2-3 months before Pulse is even shipping them out.
Yeah. See, I learned that lesson back when, was it more than a year ago? Shit, maybe 2 years ago. Whenever that Heroes of Endor Black Series set.
Yeah.
I ordered that. I ordered that shit, and then all of the figures came out individually in the stores before, and it was still going to be months before that was set, or at least for me. But the weird thing is, like, some people get them early. It's like, how the fuck did I pre-order it when everyone else pre-ordered it, but mine won't be here for another 3 months? It's like that's the other problem when you get into shit like that.
Yeah, I don't know how they work that shit out. Like right now, the only time I really fuck with Pulse is when it's an absolute Pulse exclusive. Like that's the only place you could order it at. And another thing I've learned is they call them exclusives, but usually they're timed exclusives.
Yeah.
Eventually they come back around to somebody else gets them. But there's a few that are very absolutely just their exclusive, like the fancy Cobra Commander, the black and red one.
Yeah.
Like that was literally the only place you could find that. It's never changed ever. And then like when I'm army building, because like that's where I got a couple of my bats and my alley vipers from, because you can order them from them right now. They have them in stock ready to give them to people. So I ordered them on like a Friday and had them on Monday. Other than that, like any of their other regular figures, I just wait for the store.
Yeah. So I was going to say that also the Toka and Razar 2-pack, when they re-released it on NECA's site, that shit's popping up in stores. Like,
talking about the animated one or the movies?
No, the movie ones. So when they re-released the movie ones, because they felt bad because a lot of people didn't get it the first go around, even though they were pretty much all over the place, just some people didn't get good distribution. So a lot of people pre-ordered it at the same time that all the other movie 2 stuff, threw up there. And they're waiting on it just like everyone else for, let's see, when does it say? Q1 of 2023, when it's at fucking Walmart right now. It's like, why would you sit here and wait?
A lot of people give NECA shit on quality level.
Yeah.
I probably have,
for me, it's distribution.
Across multiple lines, I probably have about 100 of their figures across multiple lines. And I've only ever had one issue in, like, where people open them up and they talk about their legs broke and this is broken and that is broken. I've only ever had one issue, and it was the android for Krang, the body.
Yeah.
It has the window. You could open up and look at it. I looked at it and like I heard something rattling around. I opened up and looked at it, and his foot was broke off on the peg, like inside the sealed box.
Oh, damn.
And
I remember that.
so I contacted them, and they're like, well, there's nothing we can do about it. We've shipped them all out, so you'll have to just see if they pop up in store again. So I'm like, cool. So I'm super fucked because we only have the one Target in town, and I know of at least 3 YouTube reviewers in my town. So nothing stays on the shelves around here. So somebody else found me one and shipped it to me at least. So I got it for retail to replace it.
I've never.
That's the only issue I've ever had.
Wait,
only
is that
the
Krang with the not the big body, but the little walker?
Yeah, the android body.
Okay,
yeah,
not the walker body. Okay.
No, that's the regular. That was the 2-pack was Shredder.
Yeah. I've only seen that, what do they call it, the Mongoloid version of Krang, something like that.
No, the android body.
No, but that's what they actually call it.
It's called the android body.
Oh, well, either way. It's not the one from the original cartoon, the weird thing that
the one that had like the sunglasses with the straight lines in them.
So I've only seen that, well, because they have the newer Krang one that has the like Terminator, like stripped down metal body, but that's why I had to clarify. But I've only ever seen that once ever on the shelf, and it was just one.
But that's the only one out of 100 figures. That's the only one I've ever had an actual issue with.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest problem with them has been distribution,
loose ankles
and loose wings.
Yeah, well, I didn't get
See,
that
my
one.
Demono actually was perfect. Like the wings are great on her. I don't know how I
Oh.
got so fortunate.
Well, mine are loose now. They weren't
I have
really loose
I
to
have
begin with.
some of the it's not the ankle hinge, it's the pivot, the swivel.
Yeah.
So if you can get them into a wide enough stance or get enough of a good stance on them to where that's at its max, it hasn't been an issue. Plus, I have Kikis. I could always, if I want to A stance them, I could always fix it that way.
Now,
But at least out of all my stuff, of actual action poses, my turtles are probably in the best setup out of all of them. I actually have them in motion and stuff like that, not just standing there straight up, arms at sides, nuts to butts like the Transformers.
yeah, all of mine are in poses.
Yeah.
Like I've got
I have some of my Transformers in poses, but they're usually on shelves kind of away from everybody else because I just ran out of room. For the most part, they're just kind of shoulder to shoulder. Yeah, no, my turtles are all in.
That's actually a question I was going to ask both of you because I was just thinking about this and distribution wise. So I have 2 NECA figures, and I will finish the gargoyles that I want. It's going to be a cherry pick, and I will finish. Like I have like a select amount of space. But I find myself like, and I have literally one ESCO figure.
Okay.
But I'm finding myself really kind of cooling on the Super 7 stuff, particularly because I don't own any. I was going to go in on the Silverhawks line. Now
I got no issue with my Super
cooling on
7s. I have my only issue with Super 7s is I have too many. Like I'm gonna thin down my Thundercats because I've gotten everything now up into this new wave. I didn't get anything from the new wave except for Bengali. Bengali and Vultureman. Sorry, I didn't get Hammerhead and I didn't get the Mirrorverse lineup.
Once you start getting to like all of the ridiculous like tertiary characters,
Well, they started that from the beginning. That's the problem. They went from the beginning,
but they've never done they've never done a what is it, any of the Robills, right? Like for some reason they've never done it. Or
talking about the little bear things.
Yeah, the robot bears. They've never done any of them. No. For some reason, they've never done. What is the name of the
they don't have Wily Kit and Wily Cat yet.
They haven't done the Amazons either.
Nope.
Which is weird.
But like even what was it? The first wave had the snowman of Hook Mountain. Like
I thought he was second.
Was he second? Well, it got all fucked up too.
Yeah,
like,
the waves got
third wave before the second wave and all that shit. But every single wave has always had that one just really random, like Captain Crackers, the Snowman of Hook Mountain.
Yeah.
Like they've always had that one random figure in the wave. But I'm the guy who's like, oh, I can save a couple pennies and then just sell off the ones that I don't want because it's cheaper to buy the wave than it is to buy them individual.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, cool. So I could do that, save myself $30 fucking right out the gate, and then just turn around and sell this for retail, and I'm still actually making money on it.
Yeah.
So I mean, but then the problem is I get them in hand and they are gorgeous figures.
Yeah.
And they did a really good job making them look the way they look. And now
except
I got them all open and like, fuck.
Was it Tigra that had the really strange issues?
The poopy stains?
Not just that, but the fact that like his face had no detail to it. Like his eyes were painted on smooth. Like there's just like no.
Well, that's a that's a super nitpick to me. I understand what Bobby's talking about when he said that.
It looks a little strange.
That part doesn't bother me. Only if you stare at it. That's the problem. Is nobody's staring at them that hard.
It's the eyes, Rikki.
This is what everybody doesn't get. Oh. And I get it. Like I watch Bobby's reviews and I mean, I don't know if y'all know this, but I kind of like Bobby. He's a pretty cool reviewer, so I'm kind of a fan. So I know that he's looking at it with a very critical eye. One, because that's his personality, and he's admitted it 1,000 times. He'll say stuff like, it bothers me because I know what I want. It might not bother you, but it definitely bothers me. He says stuff like that constantly.
Yeah.
And so I know he's looking at it with the Bobby lens on. You take that Bobby lens off, he's still looking at it from a reviewer's lens. And a reviewer's lens is to get in there and find those little issues like that and tell you what's wrong with it ahead of time. But if you just look at it as I'm just a normal collector. I'm Joe Bob down the street trying to buy Thundercats. Nobody gets in there and stares at them that hard. They're like, holy fuck, you got the Thundercats. You know what I mean? Like I've been in Bobby's basement and seen all his stuff, and never one time did I get in there and go, hey man, what's up with this toe hinge on this figure? You don't see that. You see the whole, and then you see pieces of you see the individual people. You're not getting in there going, why is that one's pinky bent slightly this way versus that one's pinky bent that way? Like you don't care at that point. So that I get what he's saying, but if you set it in there and make it look nice, And it always comes back to that old played out argument. What better option do you have? What other tiger are you going to put in that set?
I don't know.
Have an
I don't know because I
incomplete
got the
set.
statues.
That's your only options.
Yeah.
We're talking action figures.
I know.
If you're talking an action figure, what other tiger are you going to put in with your Super 7 Thundercats? Even if you think his eyes are flat, there's no other one.
The Matty Collector version that never existed.
Same exact one, ding dong.
That never. That's why I said never existed, really.
And the first two waves are literally just Matty Collector figures just reprinted.
Yeah.
So, and they upgraded a couple things on them.
I will
but that's what I'm saying is there's not really many options. It's
what's the other one?
It's like in G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe right now is
Classics.
kind of, people don't understand. They're fighting and arguing all the time about it. And even I won't buy Valverse figures. I own some of the weapons, but I won't buy the figures because I don't like the guy. I've watched interviews with him, so I'm like, I don't like him. I don't like how he talks and acts. So I'm not going to support his line by buying up a bunch of figures.
Yeah.
But if I was just, he's cool in my book, whatever, you could mix and match Classified and Action Force. Like, oh, you like their Slaughter better than the one Hasbro's putting out? Then buy their Slaughter and put it in your thing because you have an option. People don't understand right now in G.I. Joe's, it's a pain in the dick sometimes. They've gotten way better, but it was a pain in the dick to build this set. Now all of a sudden you have multiple options. You can go over here, you can go over there, you can wait and buy this 3-pack that BBTS is putting together. You can buy that pack over there at, Pulse. You can find them at Walmart, find them at Target. Like, there's Action Force, there's Classifieds, you got all these different options to build a G.I. Joe. You don't have that with like any of the Super 7 stuff. Right now, the only one giving Super 7 a run for their money is Ramen Toys put out their Quicksilver, which I saw in person this weekend.
Yeah.
And it's just as fucking ugly as I thought it was going to be when I saw it in pictures. Because everybody wants to dog shit on Super 7 saying, oh, look at the picture of it. It's look how flat the paint is. The one thing everybody leaves out of the argument is literally on the picture. It says these are CADs. They're not.
Yeah, it's not even a picture of the thing. It's a render.
It's not even a picture of the toy. It's a render.
Yeah.
And they said these are not the final products. I have seen the ramen in hand. I could have bought it right there. It was in a box. I could have bought the damn thing, and they had their Monstar there too. You had bought it in hand.
Was it missing the flavor packet?
Yes. It had the Pez dispenser though.
Oh, hey, I finally got
That's a good
Sledge's
lead-in,
elbow to move.
Rikki, to what else happened for your week.
So wait for it. The Quicksilver in hand, and then my argument against it is, I know people have had issues. Ramen Toys had to put out a whole tutorial on how to fix your toy that you just spent $90 to get from them.
I love that.
They put a whole tutorial out on how to properly fix it since it's all broken. But my thing is those big, giant, ugly ass fucking black hinges everywhere. What the fuck is wrong with it? They're pissed at Super 7 because they don't think the metal shiny, the metal parts are shiny enough. But they're like, and look, Ramen Toys is better because it's shiny. They use the back metallized looking metal paints and blah, blah, blah. But it's got a big, huge black fucking joint in his shoulder, in his elbows, in his knees. They don't match anything.
In the final product. It actually looks
in the
right.
final for sale, the one you're going to get to your house product has black fucking hinges.
Damn.
Like, it makes zero fucking sense. I can make the argument that even if Super 7, that was their finalized color design and that was the exact color of silverish blue you were going to get on Quicksilver, I can show you the cartoon where that's what it looks like. The shiny metal silver on Quicksilver, that was the toy.
Yeah.
The cartoon, he was like that bluish gray color the whole fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
So you got one that's toon accurate and one that's toy accurate. Everybody likes. I remember I had them and played with them so much. The vac metallized shit was rubbing off on my toys when I was a kid. I got it. I get it. It does look better in my head. That's what I want mine to look like because it's called Silver Hawks, not Matte Hawks. I get it. Mm-hmm. But never did any of them have black joints in them ever. Right. So it looks like shit. So I fuck everybody's arguments. So I'm definitely getting those Super 7 Silverhawks, but I'm very much just doing like I'm doing with the Gargoyles. I'm going to get the main cast, the main line, and I'm about to melt my Thundercats down to just the main core people, just because I want more room to get more stuff out there.
That's a way to put it. I'm going to melt them down.
Melt them down. I'm going to sacrifice them to the gods.
So pause. Rob, do you got to go?
Bought myself about 20 minutes.
Okay, yeah. I was going to say it's nearly 5:30, or is 5:32 now. Okay, so pause on your BotCon experience, and let's talk TV shows, and then we'll record your BotCon out of
Okay.
order.
Sounds like a good idea.
We'll
Yeah.
record it out of order. So,
Okay.
all right. So, where should we start? She-Hulk, because it came first.
Personal
So to
opinion,
speak. So to speak. So to speak.
yeah.
So to speak.
No, she always comes first.
Nice. Yeah, well played. I mean,
Yeah.
I like it, but I like it for what it's worth, which is not a whole lot to me in the grand scheme of things. It is.
I don't know
it
if that's
has
as
its
good as you
moments.
meant it to sound.
Yeah, I don't think so either. The problem is that again, this is where I will agree with Ricky. It's not exactly perfectly to the speed of where the comics kind of fell, but it does do a lot. It feels rushed. If there's a word I could find for it, it feels rushed. The first episode was doing very well to kind of explain and go through the backstory. It didn't feel like it was horribly bad, but then like right at the end, there was that last 10 minutes, the courtroom scene, and then it just felt rushed in. The second episode, kind of the same. You had a lot to pack in, and there's a lot of things that happen, and it's kind of. I get where they're going with this, and they only have a limited number of episodes, but again, it's really rushed.
But see, I think the
That's
problem
causing problems with it because it's not getting up it's not giving the pace that it really needs.
Here's where they're messing up. She-Hulk Attorney at Law is a whole arc in She-Hulk. Like, it became that in the 90s and early 2000s. What they're trying to do is they're trying to rush past the Savage She-Hulk and the regular She-Hulk always straight into Attorney at Law. And so they're trying to compact 25 years worth of backstory into 15, 20 minutes worth of a show. And it's too much.
Well, they're also they're kind of only
just leave it out. Just leave it out. Leave out the fourth wall breaking shit. Leave out the fucking the whole backstory with Hulk. You don't need none of that stuff. That could have been a conversation between her and that annoying ass fucking assistant of hers. They could have just had a conversation where she knew that she was Hulk already, so she could have just explained, this is what happened. I had an accident. My cousin's blood got at me. Boom, I'm She-Hulk. Boom. End of story. I didn't need 30 minutes of that shit. I don't need you to keep forcing Ruffalo in here being dude Hulk, smart Hulk.
It does feel like he's kind of shoehorned in there, doesn't it?
Like, oh, she has to call him. She's having an issue, so she has to call Hulk. Now you're making your whole entire story about women empowerment and I don't need no man, but every time she hits the slightest little bump, the first thing she wants to do is talk to her cousin about it. I'm like,
I do feel like
mixed signals.
I do feel like as acting goes, Tatiana Maslany, very good. I totally appreciate what she's doing with what she's got, but again, I agree with you.
It's okay, and I'm not and to fix the misconception, I don't need it to be beat for beat the comics. I need it to be what it's supposed to be. They're trying to show you Savage She-Hulk, but inside Attorney at Law. So that's where they're mixing up the spirit of the character, because she transitions over 25 years in comics to that. This, they're trying to force feed it to you instantaneously in an episode, and it doesn't work.
Can I talk now?
I mean, Dormammu, you got anything else you want to say?
Yeah, you're both fucking wrong. The show is fantastic as it is. Everyone needs to shut the fuck up and stop complaining and love what is given to you instead of hating what wasn't. I don't give a fuck about them skipping over 25 years of She-Hulk because they give me the She-Hulk that's here now. And that's all I want. Problem.
See, again, you didn't listen. You wanted to come in here and say that we were wrong. I didn't say that. I said they're taking 25 years and compressing it.
They're not compressing it. They're just not doing it.
Yes, they are. No, they are doing it.
They didn't even do Savage She-Hulk at all.
Yes, they did. That's the whole fucking island thing. That was the whole Savage She-Hulk.
And she didn't need it. That was the point. She didn't even have the problem at all. She even proved that to Bruce. She proved it to Bruce. She didn't even need the training. But also the
Savage She-Hulk.
No. Either way.
And then just She-Hulk was the one where they do the fourth wall breaking.
And
then Attorney at Law is one where she's supposed to be serious as the attorney.
Okay, well, we don't have 25 years to build up more TV shows prior to this one.
So then just do the Attorney at Law. I literally just said that.
This is what they're doing.
Just do the
You've
Attorney at Law.
got, Ricky,
no, they're not.
I'm going to say it every time. You will never be happy with anything if you keep measuring it to what came before. Measure it to what's here and now.
I was happy with other stuff that came before. I'm not happy with this.
Yeah, because you're measuring it up to every other story that it is doing.
I'm measuring it up to the ruler that they put out there. Again, if they said we're
only,
just making Attorney
I'm
of
not
the
having
Law,
this argument anymore with you. I'm going to be honest
it's because it's not an argument.
No, listen.
It's just you trying to say I'm wrong. That's not the same thing. Because
I'm not telling you I'm telling you
for
wrong with what you're doing, not you're wrong in your thoughts. Because I'm tired of this argument from everyone, not just you. I'm getting on a fucking soapbox. Everyone can shut the fuck up. No, shut up. Let me talk. I ranted about this. I know you're laughing. Everyone can shut up. I don't care if you're Bobby Skullface, Mike Lorber, or the fucking head of any fucking major YouTube channel. Shut the fuck up. You are fucking attacking a show for everything it isn't. You're attacking fucking nonsense. Like, oh, it's so fucking woke and feminist. So? Shut the fuck up.
On that point,
I don't
think it is.
I don't even think it is. Fine. Like even the wife.
I just felt.
And I didn't even say anything about woke and feminist.
I know. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking about everyone else. I was like, this is why I'm addressing everyone.
Because everybody has
That's all it is. Everyone's been attacking it.
Attacking this full bore.
And here's the thing. A lot of people were sent to the premiere where they got to see the first 4 episodes, and they've been holding back on the spoilers and just going episode by episode, even though they know what's coming. So one thing is the fourth wall break. I'm here for it because I like that kind of shit. Her playing the character, I like that. I like the way she plays the character. Is the CG a little wonky sometimes? Yes, but that's the problem with massively full-on CG characters next to real characters. It's always going to look wonky until the lighting is exactly right, or you're in a full CG environment where everything can be perfect. It's always going to be a problem. This is something I watch all the time on Corridor Crew, where they break down computer graphics and anything else like that, where they break down CG in TV shows, movies, everything else like that. So I get it. Some of that is weird. And yes, I know that the idea of why does her hair grow? I was like, why does everything grow on her? It's silly. The concept of her going back and forth is silly in and of itself. I really love Blonsky in this last one, kind of being fake doofy, I guess, to like try to get his way out of prison. He's like, I've read haikus, you know, as namaste. It's like all of that shit is like in the dumb wheelhouse, but not like Thor.
I like seeing
dumb shit.
You think, just so you don't think that I dislike everything about it.
No, I know you don't hate everything.
The conversation between her and Bruce, where she's like, that was where they're talking about Abomination.
Yes.
And he was like, man, that was so long ago. I feel like a whole different person.
No, he said I was literally a different person. And
yeah, he did like that,
at the camera.
Like nod at the camera. Like, I like that. That's fucking funny to me. See, that is intelligent humor.
Yeah, but there's and I get that there is some stuff that is quote unquote rushed, but I also feel that this is the first time we've gotten a 30-minute show, not an hour-long show. So like the fourth wall break isn't my issue. It's how they're handling it. Well, because this is what most people don't know. She-Hulk was fourth wall breaking in the comics 20 years before Deadpool was around. Everybody thinks it's a Deadpool thing. No, it's not.
She-Hulk was doing it for forever before him.
Other comic characters have done it.
That's
like,
not
way before
my
Deadpool.
issue. Spider-Man's done it before. Yeah, they do it at the beginning or the ends. But I'm talking about in comic while the story's happening. She was one of the first that would break and talk to the reader.
Yeah, so she's talking. She's talking to the viewer.
But my thing is how they're using it. They're using it for slapsticky, yucks. In the comics, when she used it, because she's not supposed to be slapsticky. She's a highly intelligent lawyer. Is not supposed to talk like a doof, and that's the problem. Is she always tries to do the you guys see it, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. That's what they're using it for, and I don't like that. I don't need you to tell me that was supposed to be fun.
It's just a touch to Ally McBeal.
Well, I mean, this is literally just Marvel McBeal. Kind of thing. It's like it's Ally McMarvel. But the thing is,
I don't like that. I don't need you to hold my hand and tell me that Bruce made a joke. You know, I like in my head, the way she would have done it is she would have popped up and goes, "Did y'all get that? He's referencing the 2008 movie, the one where somebody else completely different played this character." But they didn't. They handled it nicely.
But here's the thing.
They did this one nicely. They just kind of said it and just kind of like side-eyed the camera just to let you know that he knows that you're watching and that you caught it. That's how you handle those kind of jokes.
So here's the weird thing, though. Apparently, so there's something behind her fourth wall breaking in this show. Apparently, and we're going to find out what that actually is by the end of the
There
series.
has to be, because other people are
Yeah.
are noticing it.
Yeah, no, so there's supposed to be, and I don't know what it is. There's no spoilers on my part. I don't know what it is, but there is an actual explanation for it, because remember the first time she does it as She-Hulk at the bar?
Bruce is like, who are you talking to?
No, but not even that. She double checks because she goes, wait, what? Like, she checked herself. She went, wait, I just looked at the camera. And then she looked back like, what am I looking at? And then Bruce said, what are you looking at? So, like, she doesn't, she's realizing she's talking to quote unquote no one. So there's something going on there, and beyond probably some type of insanity. But like,
again, it's not that they're doing it; it's how they're.
But see,
doing
I don't
it,
have
my issue with it.
I don't have a problem with it, because I
not
find
that
like,
what you're talking about there.
Yeah.
I'm talking about her hand holding and pointing out. Did you get that? That was a joke. That's why I'm talking to you now, to point out that that was supposed to be funny. You should be laughing right.
But see, like I was already laughing, so I missed it because I got the joke before she even had a chance to point it out to me.
Well, then it was pointless to have it in there. If
no,
you didn't
because
even
the
need to
wife
see
caught
then
it.
It doesn't need to be there.
No, because when the wife watched it, who doesn't get that reference, she goes, wait, why is she laughing? So now she wants to know what's going on. So like you're looking at the person who knows all of it, but it's not made for just the people who know all of it. It's made for everyone to be able to enjoy. That's why I watch it.
What do you think? Now this is going to be really weird. What do you think of Common Core math?
I don't know fuck all about Common Core math.
Okay, and this is the reason why I asked that. And it's going to sound crazy.
I know it's awful,
sound crazy,
but I know nothing
it's
about
it. It's going to sound crazy, but let me explain.
I know base 12 is ridiculous.
Okay, let me just explain to you why I'm making that connection. You caught the joke and you laughed at it.
Uh-huh.
Your wife didn't catch it because she's more normie than nerdy. All right, so regular normies are definitely going to miss the joke. So they needed that there to draw their attention. Okay. Common Core does, you know how to multiply normal, but Bob sitting next to you is not good at it. And Jim Jack sitting behind him is even worse at it. So we have to throw all of these different versions out there so that at least one of them catches it. That's Common Core math at the very basic explanation level. That's literally what you just described the show at. We're going to throw everything out there so everybody kind of catches all of it. And as a person who knows regular multiplication, I would be annoyed as fuck of having to sit there and listen to all that other Common Core shit. And that's why people of our generation hate Common Core, because we don't need that shit. We learned it the regular way. And now it sounds like that's crazy to do all that stuff. That's exactly what the show is doing.
Make a kitty sense of why Shoky enjoys it so much, because he likes the idea that it's a more generalized type of humor.
It's kind of for everybody.
Because I'm so tired of, well, because you have two approaches. You have no hand holding and hope that everyone knows everything, or you have explain everything.
Yeah,
and explain everything is really annoying and wastes a lot of time.
Absolutely.
Hand holding.
Not to say this is a sitcom, but they treat it a little bit as a sitcom.
Oh, this is a sitcom. This is a sitcom.
This could be a sitcom.
This is a law sitcom.
Yeah.
Now the question is, when we get to Daredevil coming in, who's not a goofy character, not really. I mean, he has his quips, but
and wasn't treated that way in his own show, and it's supposed to be the same continuity.
So the thing is we're going to find out, and it does seem like part of it is she is sillier, for lack of a better term, than everything else that's going on around her. Like, I think the thing about this is, with the comics, as a lot of these channels I've watched have explained, with the comics, it was her wanting to, or finding the balance and finding out who she really is. Is she the She-Hulk, or is she Jen? You know, and then fighting one versus the other. They've done exactly the opposite with the show by forcing her to be She-Hulk instead of her being resistant to being She-Hulk most of the time.
She's still resistant. This whole show she bitched about being called She-Hulk.
But in comparison, it was where she had to be, like, she would go into She-Hulk, but now she's trying to learn the benefits of being She-Hulk because she's forced into being it all the time at her new job, where it was the other way around before.
That seems to be the premise of the whole thing, is basically taking.
So
that
I remember in the
comics,
power bit. In the comics, they called it She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, but in the actual story, they always talked to her as Jennifer. They called her Jennifer, Miss Walters. Yeah. The only time she was directly referred to as She-Hulk in that series is if she had to go do superhero stuff.
Yeah. So I think,
but she still looked like She-Hulk the whole entire time.
Yeah.
She was just, when she was superheroing, she was She-Hulk. When she was a lawyer, she was Jennifer Walters. She just looked the same both times.
Yeah. I think the big thing with this show is going to be, because we know Bruce's story essentially, and we know how he got to where he is now. We've known what he's had to fight through, and we know how he found his balance. And this is going to be how she finds her balance. Now they're doing it different from what, whichever version of the comics you want to pick from. I know they're going for a lot from the Dan Slott run, but or at least they're pulling a lot of what happens in here from that. But even in, what is it? Her boss looks almost exactly the same. The one that fired her looks almost exactly the same as the one from the comics, from what I heard. But I think that because a lot of people were bitching everything's too easy for her. She's a bit of a Mary Sue. She's getting everything off the bat.
Bullshit.
Yeah, well, so no, a lot of people have been saying that because she hasn't had to struggle at all as a Hulk, except for the first 10 minutes of being a Hulk where she had no control. And then
they literally handled her struggle in this episode. And that is literally how it was in the comics. And in the earlier comics, her struggle was not using her power, learning how to hold a cup without destroying it, opening a door for a friend without ripping it off the hinges. It was learning to control her power levels. So in this one, it's learning how to balance her life with being a Hulk.
I think it's going to be both. I think it's going to be both, because she learned how to be a Hulk with Bruce, but she didn't learn how to be a Hulk in society. So,
and before you rant, that's what I was trying to explain.
Yeah, no, but that part I understand.
That was from a whole different set of comics. It did not need to be in this show.
I think it's fine though, because
which I do have a question again for you both. I do like the family scene, but I didn't realize that because it's a standard family and they love to rub salt in the wounds.
Hey, all I can say is different strokes, people.
But also, it's
no perfect
they were
strangers.
Jewish, and it makes me wonder if Bruce himself was Jewish, and if so, does everything heal?
No, it won't. Nothing will grow back that's already gone.
And no, that's not how it's presented, because she's Walters and he's Banner. So I'm going to assume that.
Hold on, they were implying.
I'm going to assume that the Judaism. Yeah, I'm going to assume that the Judaism comes from the mother's bloodline, which is how traditional Judaism is tracked. Not the
fair enough. We'll go with
I do forget which way she's related to him.
Her dad is related to Bruce's mom.
Right, thank you.
Bruce's mom is a Walters.
Okay. I got you. Okay, I was trying to wrap that one.
Bruce's mom's maiden name would be Walters.
So, I'm still. The thing is it's one thing for me to watch one of these shows and totally enjoy it, but then the wife to be completely checked out. When she is enjoying and engaged, even without having the 100% nerd knowledge, only being exposed to the MCU, that's where I'm on board. So it's
and I can agree with that. I watched the first episode, I did not like it. I watched the first episode again with Kara, and I enjoyed myself because Kara was able to enjoy it.
Yeah,
but those are two vastly different things.
But see, that's where I think that we need to make that adjustment in a way, because it's okay, well, earlier. So I watched episode 2 of House of the Dragon. We'll just move on with that. So we forgot to watch it last night because I was on the Zoom call until 8 o'clock, talking with a new friend. So we didn't watch House of Dragon last night, so we're going to watch it tonight when she gets home. But now I've seen it. Now I'm geeking out on my own. So I got to see how her reaction is going to be. So we watched all of Game of Thrones together. I got her caught up to speed, and then we watched the last 2 seasons together.
Kara still won't watch it.
Oh, that's weird. But this particular episode, I actually really enjoyed episode 2 a bit more than episode 1, because episode 1 was, of course, setting on the pieces to get things rolling, a lot of the exposition right off the bat. And I also have problems with some of the CG in this one. If it's supposed to have,
it is a little wonky at times, I would agree.
The biggest problem I have is they always show King's Landing in very foggy, crappy looking CG, so the buildings don't look real. But then when you get to Dragonstone, that looks fucking fantastic.
Well, I think what they're trying to do with King's Landing is we had 8 years of Game of Thrones. We all know what every brick in that place looks like.
It is, but it's different now because it's older, more shit's still there. That's like the dragon pits. Either way, so I was saying the CG. The dragons in episode 1, there was definitely some problems.
Yeah.
especially
Looked a little
with
soft, like soft and mushy.
yes, so soft and mushy was part of it, but Cyrax, I tried to take pictures of this because I couldn't screenshot it because
That's
HBO.
one that she rides.
Yeah. So while the dragon is beautiful, don't get me wrong, the lighting was wonky. So whenever you're balancing something like that, you can't have a certain, like the thing in focus can't have any spots that's brighter than anything that's brightest elsewhere. And you can't have something that's darker on one spot that is darker than what should be darkest elsewhere. If you look at that first scene when she lands on Cyrax by the dragon pit and gets off, right?
So to speak.
Yeah. So it's like a close-up of the dragon's head where they put a fuck ton of detail and a fuck ton of shadows. But in that same shot, you look at the belly of the dragon, it's significantly lighter than any of the shadows on its face.
See, that's like my same argument against cell shaded figures. When you put cell shading and shadowing on stuff, it forces motion, it forces movement, and it forces where the light direction is coming from. And that's where they fucked up on that one.
Well, in this case, it's not even that because most of the scene is CG anyways. So the thing is, they have an overcast light directly from above, so everything should be roughly the same values, darkness or light. But the thing is, the next up close scene when the guy like guides the dragon into the
I really
cave,
thought that it was going to eat him too. By the way,
I like that they do have people who can control the dragons. They have the dragon tenders, as they were, which I hear are spicy. Anyways, dad jokes.
Womp womp.
Dad jokes. Y'all can use that one. So,
but yeah, I get what you're saying. Like it looked lighter all of a sudden from the bottom. That's what I'm saying. They weren't tracking the light source.
But the next scene, though, in that same area, the next shot of the dragon, it's fixed. The darkness under the wing. The darkness, but the darkness, it's not even editing. It's not editing. It's just how they rendered it. For whatever reason, but you can adjust these things too when you're doing the final shot. Like when you're doing the final composition and all that stuff, you can fix all that. Somebody made the effort to make the crevices in the face, which are shallower than the entire underbody of the fucking dragon, darker than the shadows under the wings until the next shot where it was more balanced. Now,
but that's really getting into some hard.
But that's why I'm saying that's why it looks fake. That's why it looks soft. So
to me, it looked mushy. To me, like the whole thing looked like it was made out of marshmallow.
Yeah,
like none of it looked like scales or sinew or something. It looked like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man with wings.
And the thing is, our previous
new one, oh my god, that thing was scary as fuck.
Oh,
it looked like it was the red one.
Yeah.
Like that thing looked amazing, and then even hers when she flew in on it and they landed, they got the close-ups and all. It looked amazing in this one too.
So they did way more. And the thing is, there in Dragonstone, they had very bright directional sunlight, not overcast nonsense. And you know what? I compared it back to Game of Thrones with one of Daenerys's dragons. Whenever she rode in on Drogon into the dragon pit when they had the meeting to discuss, the walkers. And the funny thing is, it's the same area, roughly the same kind of situation, but the way they did it with Drogon, because he's a black-ish dragon, it looked better at a distance, and then when I got a little bit closer, it was nicer. So like it's kind of like they didn't have the depth of field correct for the dragon. It's like maybe. It's like the head looked like it was really close to us, and the rest of the body looks further away. Now, Damon's dragon, the one you're talking about, the red one, especially in this episode, now that we saw it in bright light. Oh, fuck me, dude. That thing, it's disturbing. It's disturbing. Not to mention, he's got the long... This is the first time we've seen a very different looking dragon.
He has a very long neck compared to
and long torso. Like the distance between his front and back legs, or I'm sorry, its wings and its back legs. Because these are technically wyverns, not dragons. I know, too nerdy. It's like these are wyverns. But like, it looked better in this one because they definitely tweaked the lighting in the shadows. And even whenever she showed up on her dragon, with that amazing show of force, like, we're gonna do this peacefully, and I know a lot of people are probably having the same. Oh, look, she's a Mary Sue or whatever. Fucking
my god,
sexist.
if they do, they can eat a bag of dicks. I mean,
dude, they are. I'm not, and I hate. This is why I told. What the?
This has nothing to do with being a Mary Sue. She used her emotional connection with her uncle.
Yeah.
her dragon was strictly there to negate his dragon.
And to get there
If
faster.
your dragon fires off, my dragon's gonna fire off, and then everybody's fucking dead.
But not just
so
that,
she
it's
was
faster
literally there
travel.
just to. She was just literally there using her emotional manipulative powers with her uncle, and I don't mean manipulative in a negative. That's just something
No,
she
they have
can
that
do
connection
because they have an attachment.
Yeah.
So it was beautifully done,
and
beautifully scripted, and beautifully handled. Like that's not a Mary Sue.
I know
that's a smart play,
and that's why it's so stupid. But actually, that's actually the point of the show, is also to show the same problem Daenerys had. You know, everybody not taking her serious until she gets her dragons involved. But this is a world where people know dragons, they fear dragons, and of course now with the Targaryen.
And it's also very patriarchal. They even discussed that in here. Her and her aunt talk to each other. You know,
dude,
the one that didn't get voted in as queen.
Fuck that bitch.
It's gonna get worse. I see it coming.
I'm aware. Now it's gonna get way worse.
My thing, slight spoilers for people who have not watched it. The crab eater guy. I have a very, very, very bad feeling he's gonna be the white. He's gonna be the White King. They're gonna have all this build up, and it's gonna be some stupid bullshit. They just rush to his death.
No, because he's actually a main antagonist for this story. So
the White King was supposed to be a main.
Well, I know, but I'm saying
story.
I think they've learned from that because
that's why I said it's a bad feeling.
No, here's the other problem.
Based off of what they did with the last one, hopefully they did learn from it.
But remember, this book is done. It's like the book that this is coming. All of this series is coming from is done versus what happened with Game of Thrones.
What book is done?
The book, the Blood and Fire. The book that this came from. Do you think you're just making this shit up?
I didn't know there was a series of books for this.
It's not. It's a book.
Oh, well, then that's going to be a very dumb. Then they're going to be way off script real fast, anyways, because they got a bunch of story to tell. They're going to keep this motherfucker around until it stops making money.
Dude, it's George R.R. Martin. He's incredibly dense writer. Even though, but the thing is, the book
I've
is
read
the
all
book
the
is more of a
songs of Fire
text.
and Ice. I didn't realize that there was other ones.
But it's not. It's more of a text. It's more of a.
So it's like the Silmarillion bullshit.
In a way. So they have all the stuff. They have the events that happen. They have the character descriptions. They have.
It's a codex or an index type thing. It's not.
But it's really it's a history book. Is really what it is.
See, that's where you threw me off. I was like, he had a book. What the?
But
fuck?
I mean, he wrote a whole book around it. So, but the thing is, that's
he
where
made a Silmarillion. He thinks he's J.R.R. Tolkien.
Yeah. So what they're doing with this show is, what's the word? They're dramatizing the text. So like they're
expanding upon it. They're taking that and making a story.
They're taking the events that happened and stuff like that, and then and I'm sure there's something to it, but it's not written as a narrative. The book
did a lot of that in the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit also.
Exactly.
Like people bitch about how long those are and how they they weren't word for word on the book. That's because the stuff that wasn't exactly in the book was the stuff from the. I'm always going to say I think it's Silmarillion, so I'm just going to say it that way. Yeah, they took stuff from that and incorporated it into the story because it made sense to be part of the story.
Yeah,
but it wasn't like the making of the black orcs and all that stuff. That's not in the Lord of the Rings books. That's from the Silmarillion thing or whatever. But they showed you in the Lord of the Rings movie because it made sense to show it to you there.
Yeah, contextually and narratively, it made sense. So what they're taking the actual written histories and just adding the narrative to make it a show.
Good.
So and that's a good way to do it because. One, it's a quote unquote story that's done first of all.
And so we have should kill a lot of those. You changed the story. You didn't follow the book.
They've done a little of that argument. They've done a little bit, and I think it mostly is around the. I'm still not at the point where I remember everybody's names yet. The Valeris, the black dude, the black guy. I don't believe they're black in the.
Okay. But that's what I'm saying. It's probably in the book. They don't tell you what they are.
Well, I think they do describe them as pale skinned because they're Valyrians to begin with. Now, I don't have a problem with it by any means. It's an interesting way to include it in the story because they are Valyrian. They are tied to the Targaryens. So it's
you got albino and then you got really dark. So you got like the two.
Even one thing they changed to make it more like Game of Thrones is. Damon's woman actually is supposed to be very light-skinned and blonde. So they made her look more like Tyrion's woman from the earlier seasons. So they Shay. So they purposely made her. They wanted to tie that similar.
That lady's accent killed me though. I had
Dude,
such
that was so bad.
Following what she was saying.
Yeah, that was really really bad.
And she did not act very well. And I understand that it's because she's probably having a hard time with the secondary language, but it sounded very stunted while she was talking.
It was super
because
fake.
her brain was translating it to English for her as she was saying it. It wasn't naturally flowing out of her.
It's definitely super fake French. But I mean, in reality, probably it might be French. It sounds like a French.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But her English was very like.
But in the brothel, it seemed like it was fine. I mean, the accent was super thick, but her acting was fine. This one where they're talking in the whatever that room is now, because it was the map room, now it's not, or it isn't yet.
Well, not yet.
Well, the thing is, we don't know. That's the only room we ever seen in Dragonstone, so we don't know other than the throne room. But okay, so go back to episode 1 just real quick. The establishment of this is what's going on in Westeros. This is what's going on with the Targaryens. I liked all that, at least a very quick backstory. I appreciated that because we would have no way to know that. Otherwise, without having to really like throw in some slogging dialogue. It's like, cool, give us that, and then don't give us much more exposition until maybe way later. And I like how they're still good with the storytelling, like the whole thing with the wife dies in childbirth.
Oh no, he kills her. I don't care what anybody says. He did that. He sacrificed her to get.
Oh no, he did that. Yes, but the whole idea is the child should have survived. So that was the point. So it's a doomed-ish bloodline, and I think they're obviously supposed to be relatives because they like to keep their bloodlines somewhat pure.
Well, that's what they're doing in the second one now.
Yes. So what I was trying to get, I think I lost my train of thought when I got off. No, it wasn't your fault. I lost my train of thought while I was talking.
You're talking about the baby.
Yeah. So,
who was Rhaegar Targaryen.
Oh, I was trying to talk about the way they're doing the storytelling. So the idea that her mom tells her earlier before that she says a woman's battlefield is the birthing bed. And then what do? They literally show her giving birth, or trying to, next to all of the men killing each other. And it's an interesting way, and it's an interesting other thing too, because they talk about how it's been a very long time of peace. Jaehaerys, the king before, was an entire rule of peace, for 60, 70 years or however long it was. And now Viserys has had peace his whole time. So all these people have never known war.
They're complacent.
They're complacent. Yeah. They're tourney knights, as they keep saying. She makes a big point about that. Who here has seen real battle? Daemon has seen real battle, and he's been trained like a motherfucker. That's why he wipes up all these tourney knights until he gets to the only other person who has seen real combat.
He knocks him off his horse.
With Kristen. And
he's the only one that gave him a run for his money.
That callback in this episode was fucking perfect.
Yeah, like that.
You might remember me from knocking you off your horse, and he's like, "Ha, nice." Like that's the thing though about Daemon. He's not an evil asshole. He does what he does morally gray. He's very morally gray, which is perfect for Matt Smith because that's what he played as a doctor. So this is like I know that sounds dumb, but like the Doctor is very morally gray, very okay with certain things, very okay with wiping out entire species here, and then will do anything to save this particular species here, just depending on the situation based on whatever morals he's happy with that day. Daemon is very similar in that he believes in the power of the Targaryens. He believes that his brother isn't a good king, but he still loves his brother. That's why, he did that shit to get his brother's attention, but he didn't want to kill him or anything else like that. He does want to make his fucking point. And then when she comes instead, the niece that he's close enough to, and she comes in there fucking big dick energy, and he fucking folds when she calls him on everything. Oh, you're getting married? Yeah, I'm going to get married. Oh, you're going to have kids? Eventually. And at that moment, she had him. It's like, it's over. It's like, no more fight here. It's like all these other dipshits over here who've barely been through anything are about to die to come over here. And she's like, I want my brother's egg back. Which as soon as they said that, it was the baby's egg and both of them kicked into gear, I was like, oh, it's fucking on. I was like, the writing on this is better than a lot of season 7 and season 8 was in Game of Thrones. And
the only thing I don't like is the main girl, man. Something about her looks or something bothers me. I don't know what it is about her.
She has a very pursed face. It's very tight.
Is that what it is?
It's very tight. And I'm okay with it because I mean she's not going to be around forever. I don't know when they're going to do the time skip, but it'll be eventually. But what's really strange, because I had this discussion with where was I having that? It might have been in the Discord. I don't remember where I was having it, but I looked it up to see who was playing who and however many episodes, and it shows both versions of Rhaenyra
Well,
in all
they're
10
definitely going to show.
episodes.
Yeah, they're definitely going to show older one for sure.
Well, they have to. They
because
they have older versions of all the characters.
all of them, because if you watch the Behind the Throne,
Yeah.
the thing at the end of the episode,
Which I
even
did
this
miss.
week's one,
I missed it.
this week's one, they talk to the Alicent,
Mm-hmm.
the one that's at the end of the spoiler, the one that the king wants to marry.
Yeah.
Like her
Oh.
title card underneath her literally says "Young Alicent Hightower."
So, but what I was getting at is that for some reason it gives credit to both actresses of Rhaenyra for all 10 episodes this season.
It probably
So,
some contractual thing.
Yeah. Well, because with Alicent,
Mhm.
it doesn't. It shows 10 and 9.
Mhm.
So they're doing something is going on there. But adult Alicent has not been on screen yet. Neither has adult Rhaenyra. But adult Rhaenyra did the voiceover at the beginning of episode 1. So I figured that's how they would have the tie-in. Like she would be doing a voiceover, but then there was no voiceover in this episode. So I was like, okay, how are they giving them credit for all of these episodes? Now, and that was the other thing I was trying to get at was the stuff with Hightower. You know, so Otto basically maneuvering his daughter to go be with the king. I was like, okay, this is good storytelling because like he didn't directly say, I need you to go fuck the king so we can get power. It's all just that little manipulation, but she knows exactly what he's doing. And like you could tell she's not even keen on it most of the time. Like what was it they showed, the visual storytelling of showing her where she's chewed up her fingers, basically the nervous picking, because she's doing this shit that either she doesn't want to get caught doing or she already feels shitty about doing it. Well, she probably also is not keen on fucking an old man. I mean, he's not super old, but
I mean, to me, she doesn't seem to have that issue. I think her issue is more the friendship betrayal part.
That part too, because Rhaenyra's face, even though she didn't technically react to it, she is a little too stoic, and I feel like that's just going to be a thing that she is. Like even though she was upset that now her best friend is supposed to be marrying her dad out of nowhere, because for her she didn't even know this was a thing, because even the king's like, you haven't told her that we've been talking, right? And she's like, no.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I think it's a good show. I think it's still a little rough around the edges, like just a little. I mean, like I said, the CG is a little wonky, but we're not focusing on a lot of that. There's less practical sets outside at the moment. But I'm hoping we'll see a lot more. Like the war with the crab feeder is coming, so that's going to be pretty cool, at least from what I've heard. That character design is fucking ridiculous. When they showed him at the end of this episode, as opposed to, or in opposition to Daemon, who is a pretty decent looking guy, especially with the hair. It's the only time we see Matt Smith with different hair, and it's pretty funny because he's always got his same haircut. Everything since Doctor Who, when he first came in the 11th hour, has had that same haircut in everything. This is the first time we've seen him with a different head of hair. Even the wife didn't recognize it was Matt Smith at first.
And which one was he?
Damon.
Okay.
Yeah, so he was Doctor Who.
I don't watch Doctor Who, so I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
So he was Doctor Who for like 4 or 5 seasons. So, I mean, he was around for a while. And of course he was in Morbius. He was Milo.
I haven't seen that yet.
He was Milo in Morbius. So it's funny to see him fucking someone. So when you're used to like seeing someone as quote unquote wholesome as the Doctor, like he's a fairly non-sexual entity, literally like fucking some whore, is like, that's funny. It's like, and I can tell you like all that when he had to wrap up, it's like, oh, he's literally trying to hide his junk right now. It's like he's trying to get that in there. It's like, that's funny. I think it's going to be a good show. I think all the actors are pretty much on point, except for the one, like you were talking about, with the accent, and for whatever was going on in that scene, that acting was really bad. I like that not everyone knows what's going on, and we're getting very similar characters. Like, we're seeing character traits that are obvious, you know, that we recognize in these people. And we're getting references of stuff that we'll see in the future. We're getting families that we are familiar with and locations we're familiar with. But, like, I doubt we're ever going to go north. I doubt we'll ever see Winterfell or anything like that. I think it's going to be other places that we've never really gone, you know. So I'm pretty keen on this show, and I hope it goes for at least, you know, a couple seasons to justify its cost. I just wish they would pay whatever effects house is doing the CG to just step it back up to, like, you know, season 7, season 8 levels. Especially if they're going to give us the new intro. What did you think about that intro on episode 2?
I didn't really pay attention to it.
Okay, so they brought the music back like they did at in the credits of episode 1. I thought they weren't going to do that, but they're directly tying it for Game of Thrones. And then instead of doing the map of Westeros, we're actually going through it's actually the city sculpture that he's made of Old Valyria. So it starts up at the top and the blood flows out, and then it goes around to all the different locations, and you see the little family symbols, and then it comes into the fire pits right at the end, you know, all the blood draining into it. So it's interesting, but not as cool in my opinion. So, I mean, it's well done. It looks cool. It's just like, it's nothing we know. So it'd probably take a while. You know, it's not like we're going to get 8 seasons out of the show. We'll probably be good if we get 3. And, you know, more people will die. Things will happen. Obviously, we're going to have a time skip. I just hope we're not going to do, like, here's half an episode in the future and half an episode in the past. That kind of nonsense. I hope we just do a whole lot of, this is what's happening in the past, and then we do a time skip. I don't want a back and forth nonsense. That's why I was confused with the both
younger, older thing.
The younger, older situation. And obviously, the guys are going to play themselves just older. I don't think they're doing a lot of swapping out there. Because obviously the girls are going to be growing up a lot more, especially the one girl who was only 12 years old that they tried to marry off to the king. And also
that I know, because you said there's a creep factor in this episode. I'm assuming that's the one that you meant.
That's what I was getting at. Like, just,
and it's okay. So anybody who's actually like into history or read history or something, that is a thing that we've actually done in this real world that we live in. That was an actual thing,
and
they made sure they in our modern times and our modern morals, it's creepy. But we also don't have slavery anymore because it's no good. We also don't go invading other countries and raping and pillaging because we know it's not any good. But all those things happened back then.
Well, so as America,
it didn't creep me out because it was set. It's not in our world, but it's set like how you would think of it as medieval times and stuff like that. But they did make sure they specified that he wasn't going to be sleeping with like a 9-year-old. They made sure she had a line saying, "I don't have to do it." Well, she said, "No." She says, "I don't have to until I'm 14." She didn't say she was
I don't have to bed you till I'm 14. Not that, you know. So
not that she had to when she was 14. Just that's the earliest it would happen.
I know.
And again, back then, again, creepy now because we lived to be 100 years old. Well, but back then, when you died at 30, 14 was half your life.
Okay, so at your age, if you and Kara split up, or unfortunately she passed away, and your next option was a 12-year-old.
That's not the same.
But I'm saying
and I'm not going to answer this question. Make it about yourself. Quit trying to make it about me.
Well, but the whole point
it's not going to happen. We don't live in that era. Back then, I would be dead already.
Well, I was going to
already be dead.
I already lost my point because I forgot you have boys, you don't have girls. So for Viserys, his only child is a girl who's only 3 years older than the one he's supposed to wed in this arrangement that they were trying to make up. And for him, it is definitely the creep factor of marrying someone younger than my own daughter. Like, and I like that he called it out. He's like, she's 12. He's like, even he's got like, I'm not going to do this. But the 15-year-old over here with the red hair, I'm on board. But that's also where they've built up that relationship over the last 6 months. Also, they really kind of trampled over that 6-month time gap, like right at the beginning, because it feels like it's 2 days later, you know?
Yeah. I mean, they just straight up told you. And I have a feeling that's going to be happening a lot in this show.
Yeah,
And
they have a
that's
lot of
what I'm
ground to
not gonna
cover.
like.
Well, that's because so much
And it
more
should, like,
happens.
if every episode starts with, remember 6 months ago when me and you were on the bridge and we argued about the egg and you gave it back to me, I'm gonna be pissed off if that's how episode 3 starts out. Like, it's gonna
It
make
probably
me
will.
so mad.
It probably well,
And
no,
if
because
that's
we're
where
gonna
it
see the
goes,
wedding. We'll probably see the wedding
if
next
that's-
episode.
if that's where, well, 6 months is not a long time to wait for a wedding, so they
Well,
can still
I'm
do
not even
that.
saying
They could
it's
be like,
gonna be
remember 6
months.
months ago when I told them I was gonna marry you? You know what I mean? Like,
I mean,
if they keep doing these time skips, it's gonna make me want to stop watching it and wait to watch it all at one time.
well, they have to do the time skips just because they have to get to what happens more so when the king is gone, and it's mostly about Rhaenyra and Daemon. So like when it gets to literally the two people, and actually 3, because Alicent is going to be in the mix as the current queen, you know, but if she, I don't know enough of the story because I don't want anything to be spoiled on if he manages to impregnate her or not, and that really fucks things up. So now we have 3 people vying for the throne, and we know how bad that's going to get. We saw what happened with Baratheons fighting over the fucking throne in Game of Thrones.
And they don't have dragons.
No, they don't even have deer.
Now, the one thing, and I said this, remember we talked, I think you and I talked about this before. I know I've talked about it in Hangouts and stuff, but they are still scared. Like I'm upset that they kept it this close to Game of Thrones. I know they made sure to make a big deal about this 200 years before, Daenerys, but they're making damn well sure it's only her dad. We just watched her dad being born. It's not like it was ancient times. And it not drawled, because that's a stupid sounding word. It made it drew something back into my memory that I did not like about The Mandalorian. Now, The Mandalorian in the timeline happens 10 years after Return of the Jedi, but 20 years before, or 20 years after 10 years after Return of the Jedi, and like 3 years
only
before.
It's 5 years after Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, and then just like a few years before Episode 7, some shit like that.
Well, Episode 7's
but
like
nobody
40.
knew what the fuck a Jedi was. Somehow in that 5-year gap, they became such mythological beings that nobody knew who the fuck they were anymore.
No, the problem. You're jumping a whole trilogy ahead. Nobody remembered the Jedi really in the gap between Episode 3 and The Mandalorian. And even then, not everybody knew what the Jedi were. I mean,
but I'm saying,
they never came to your
so let's
planet,
go
how
back
would
to
you
the
know?
original trilogy. Go back to the original trilogy, not the original trilogy, the prequels, where they're a huge political force, a military force, spanned across the galaxy, thousands and thousands of them, and in a 25-year time frame, they became myth that nobody knows anything about. Well, they've done the same thing here. They in Game of Thrones, they made sure we understood that people don't know it, barely remember what a dragon is. They're kind of from the past, and they're faded into the mists of history, and blah 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 blah. And now all of a sudden we realize just 200 years ago, they were still flying around on these motherfuckers.
Well, yeah,
because it wasn't that damn long ago.
Well, if
the United States was just founded around 200 years ago. The stuff that happened back then is faded. I said around.
We're almost to 250.
250.
Yeah.
That's still around 200, jackass.
It's halfway past.
Anyways,
it's around
250 yet.
It's like 150 is near 200.
We're not at 250 yet. We won't be at 250 until 25. So, anyways,
do your math again.
Let's say 250 years ago. Who gives a fuck? So the point is, it's not mythological, lost to the mist of time. We aren't going, what's a horse and carriage? We know what it is. What's a musket? Who's ever heard of a musket? I've never. Well, what's a musket? Motherfucker, we know what happened 200 years ago.
No, but you're misunderstanding, because it's not that people didn't know what dragons were. It's that dragons have been gone for the last living dragon.
Dodos have been gone for over 100 years, and we know what they fucking look like.
Yeah, because we had pictures. But the thing is, people know. No, but you're still missing the point. People know what dragons are, but they've been dead and extinct since not even before Robert's Rebellion. Because remember, at the beginning of Game of Thrones, they said the last dragon that died was no bigger than a house cat. Like, the old ones that have been around forever were either killed in the war or killed, period, or just disappeared. So people are aware of what dragons are, but there's no living ones around. The big deal was that there were living dragons back in the world again. That's why it was a big deal.
So in less than 200 years, the dragon's going to go from what we just saw in this movie to a house cat.
Yes, because the bigger ones all die off in the war, because it's now Targaryen versus Targaryen. They only have 10 dragons right now. They have 10 active dragons, and we only see the 2 oldest ones currently that people are using. So they have dragon riders. We know this because she says it. This is below the height of Targaryen power. Prior to this, with the old king, they had more dragons. And before that, they had hundreds of dragons. Over the generations, the people who can wield or wrangle the dragons, the people who can quote unquote control them, like he talked about. And you got to think her dad can't ever bond with a dragon because he basically inherited Balerion, and he'll never be able to bond with another dragon again. So like if you've got an older generation of Targaryens who either never got a dragon, then no dragons happen. Dragons don't just happen on their own. They have to be bonded to someone to be born. That was the big deal about the egg in this episode. So it's assigning this egg to the new prince or whatever, and that dragon will be bonded to them by being in the crib, and then it'll be hatched and raised alongside that child so that they bond. If you run out of Targaryens, you run out of dragons. So we got 2 Targaryens left in the world in Game of Thrones, technically speaking, that could bond to dragons at all. And there are no dragon eggs until we get the 3 that she's randomly given and then accidentally hatches. So like that in and of itself was a weird miracle to begin with, but that was part of the Song of Ice and Fire prediction. So it's kind of the crazy part is without Targaryens, dragons go away. If you only have a couple Targaryens at all, then you're barely going to get dragons. And they grow not just by how much they eat, they grow by their connection to their person. So the reason like Drogon grew way bigger, other than the fact he was out in the world, he got more attention. The other dragons didn't. That's why they were always smaller than Drogon. So like that's the biggest thing. So and like Caraxes, I finally got the name. Daemon's dragon, the big crazy red one, is bigger in most aspects because it's older and has been bonded to Daemon longer than Syrax has been to Rhaenyra. And if they start killing them off younger and younger, then the dragons get killed faster. So we got rid of all the dragons is what happened. It'd be like, okay, so like, what was it, Siberian lions that no longer exist?
I believe so.
Yeah. So if a Siberian lion suddenly came out of nowhere, we'd wonder what the fuck. We know they happened before they existed. People hunted them to extinction. And then if one just pops up 100 years past their extinction point, we'd go, whoa. That's basically what happened, except that lion can't breathe fire. So that we know of. I mean, they were Russian. So, I mean, I get your point, but it's also the fact that people were just surprised that dragons existed again when they were extinct for however many years. If I remember, who was it? I forget. It's been so long since I saw season 1 that the character, there's somebody in King's Landing that was talking about it. So, like, the last dragon, it's not like Balerion the Dread, which was the biggest dragon that anybody ever rode,
And I hate how they just kind of rushed past that too, man. They just kind of closed that one down real quick.
Well, this is the first time. I mean, we talked about him. They talked about him quite a lot in Game of Thrones. They talked about.
But I'm saying this would have been a chance for them to show him.
Oh, but he's been dead. He's been dead for. Well, he's been dead since.
Oh, he just died recently because Homeboy used to ride him.
Yeah, well, they didn't say how long ago, but he rode him. But they didn't say
he's only been king for 10 years, so it had to have been within a 10-year time frame.
Well, it depends on if it was the king who got to ride him or not. Because it might have been he's the only person that the dragon let ride him. Just coinky dink, So that's the one thing they don't go totally into detail as far as I know in the book. They just say he was the last person to be able to ride it before it died. And it died of probably old age, or whatever, because there's nobody running around with gigantic crossbow dragon killing machines at this point, which is the biggest problem. Nobody can kill them effectively unless they're tiny. So, limit the amount of people who can even wrangle them, and then you kill off any that are born, and then you destroy everything that tells you how to make them be born, dragons go away really fast, you know? Or you kill the one male and then the females just die off like in Rain of Fire. Nobody?
I mean, I love that movie.
Yeah, I know.
One Christian Bale and Matthew McConaughey. I love that movie.
Yeah. I watched the whole thing recently about how that movie makes no sense when it comes to the dragons. Because
But it's
like,
such a great movie, though.
oh, it's a great
But
movie.
they lay eggs. You don't really.
Well, they don't lay eggs. Well, technically, because we never see a field of eggs. They have eggs internally that are somehow already fertilized. So that's the thing that's really strange when they say that they're supposed to reproduce like fish, you know, field of eggs, shower sperm. That's not what they showed in the movie. They showed a dragon pregnant with eggs that already had babies moving around. So it's like, okay, that's a little weird. And also it wouldn't work that dragons could maintain across the world with a single male that reproduces. So there's some minor holes there. At least Game of Thrones is pretty consistent with their dragon mythology. It would be cool to go further back and see the whole thing where the Targaryens came over here, Balerion the Dread, all that family with the three siblings that all were dragon riders that basically took over all of Westeros and all that kind of shit. That would be fun. Go way back, you know. But do we just keep skipping back, telling more stories that happen further and further back? You know, I mean, I'd be down with it. I don't care if they do it that way. I wouldn't mind seeing some old Stark shit happen. You know, way back when. See the more magical days before everybody fucked everything up. It was the first men. It was the first men that fucked everything up. But I think that's a good place to end because I don't think we had. Sandman, but we can save that discussion for later. Because I think did you watch that final quote unquote 2 episodes?
No, I forgot to.
Okay, I mean it's 2, but it's in a single episode.
Yeah.
But either way, I did finish Sandman. I don't think we talked. We haven't had an official podcast since then. So yes, I did finish Sandman completely through. I enjoyed the series as a whole. And yeah, there were iffy episodes. Everybody loves episode 6 the most, which granted, it's a fantastic episode. But I more like the back end of episode 11. You know, I like the Calliope episode. So I won't go into spoilers. You haven't watched it just yet, but I really enjoyed that one. And not just because 2 of the main characters in that episode were from Doctor Who. It's just a coincidence that they have so many Doctor Who actors in this one show. I'm sure it's pure fucking coincidence. But either way, we'll leave off there. I think we got enough. What do we got? 2 hours and 15 minutes. I think we're good.
We can mess around with that. Yeah.
We did not get your BotCon story in this go round, but we could always record that.
We can record another day.
Yeah, if we can just get that snippet in there. So guys, make sure you do that like and subscribe thing. Rate us wherever it is you're watching, Spotify, Apple Music, whatever. Give us 5 stars or whatever you feel we earned. I did notice that for whatever reason, our previous episode with Anne Heche, or about Anne Heche and that kind of stuff and celebrities, somehow got 3 or double as many views as any other episode has, period. So for some reason YouTube was suggesting that one. Don't know why, but thanks YouTube. I'll take some more of that. And a lot of the episodes I'm going to start releasing a little bit later in the morning. I don't mean like super late, but a little bit later, and we're going to be doing premieres so that we can chat with you guys in the live chat, because that also builds it builds things in the algorithm. So and it's fun to be able to hear people or talk with people about their live reaction to our
it was random that I was able to be on that one. I won't be on most of those because I'll be at work, but that was fun.
Yeah, that was good. So because we'll almost never be able to do a live show, it's actually cool to be able to have that discussion in the chat with people live. So, and then, of course, you can follow me at all the Shoky related things. Links are in the description down below. Oh, damn it. I feel bad. I left out Mike's stuff. We do miss Mike. Mike has not even really updated us on what's been going on with him. He's been brief in our discussion. I assume he's just working his ass off trying to save money. So hopefully Mike and his family will be really back on their feet sometime soon, and he can join us back on the show. He's still in our chat. We haven't forgotten about him entirely, except for when I'm doing shout outs. So go subscribe to Mike's channel. He did put out a new video about the Metroplex. I don't know when he had time to put that together. So, good. At least he's doing some kind of content creation. So Comic Relief Crusader on YouTube. And if you want to buy any merch from him and help support everything, you can do so at Freelance Graphics with a K. And what Facebook group, he does have the Comic Relief Crusader Facebook group, all linked down below. And then Rikki has the Nerd Rage Radio promos on Facebook, and then of course the Realm Hatton Project on Friday nights on the Realm of Collectors channel. I'm sure that this week won't be entirely about BotCon experience across that channel. It's like,
I mean, it's pretty much lining up that way. Everybody's gonna be talking about it and stuff, and
yeah.
the Rock Box.
It's like you guys all just saw each other. You all just had this conversation. It's been going constantly in the group. We're going to talk about it all week long. It's funny though. So, and then Rob exists. He doesn't actually have anything other than like the fun stuff he does in the chats. So nothing to subscribe to for Dormammu, unfortunately.
He's pretty much everywhere. Like if you're on the Realm of Collectors,
you will
if
see
you're
him
in the group or you watch any of the YouTube channel stuff. He's the guy who does all the sock puppets theaters and stuff. He made all those. He also makes a lot of the drops that they do in the show, like the Todd McFarlane drops where he's like, what? Like he makes a lot of those things for us. I mean, he's a cool dude. He's freaking hilarious, and I hate that he keeps having to get cut short.
Yeah, that is the only thing. Especially right now, he's very busy. So the fact we got him for an hour and a half today was good. But I mean, he bailed at least on the conversation he couldn't participate in, anyways. So that's good for him. We do need some drops though, because I do have the stream deck here, so we can have drops in the show live if we wanted to. Yes.
No drops for you.
No, we have drops. We will do drops. Actually, I got to make sure you guys can hear the drops. That's the weird thing. Because they'll hear it here in the recording, but I don't know if you guys will hear it.
Usually the other people don't hear it.
Yeah, see, that part would suck, and you guys need to hear it. Yeah. So either way, we will see you guys when we see you.
Okay, bye, guys.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats.